What up, what up? This is David from the 5-6 Kings. And don't adjust your phone. Don't adjust your wherever you're listening to this podcast. This is the regular 5-6 Kings, but we're doing a 5-6 Kings sports episode. So the plan was, guys, I know you're expecting Unhinged. You're like, why am I looking at a thing titled 20 Greatest Wrestlers in the USA of All Time? We haven't come up with a title yet. 20 Greatest Wrestlers of All Time. Why am I looking at that title when I should be looking at Unhinged? Well, guys, we were about 2 hours into the Unhinged recording when Braden cut me. We were right at the end, and I was like going over how awesome the ending was. Like, I was into it. I was pumped up, and Braden's like, dude, you got to stop. I was like, no, fuck you. I got to stop. I'm on a roll. He's like, no, you got to stop. This hasn't been recording for 50 minutes. I was like, you fucking what now? He's like, yeah, no, I don't know. My phone's died, my computer, the storage is full. It's not recording. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, and then plays like, he's like, here's where we left off. And it was like, it was way long ago in the movie. I was like, the fuck are you doing to me, dude? What are you doing to me? Luckily, we recorded this episode yesterday with the plans of releasing it on 5-6 King Sports later in the week. But guys, like, lucky for you, you're just going to get 2 episodes this week. You're going to get every motherfucking Monday. You're getting something from us. You're getting like a 3-hour 20 greatest wrestlers of all time. You're going to have me. You're going to have Braden. You're going to have the big Nick Hoffman. Braden's list is fucking garbage and a joke, and it's like a child wrote it. Nick and I have solid lists. Nick fucks up at times. I'm not going to lie. I have a perfect list. It's flawless. There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah, guys, so like, I'm really sorry. I would have loved for you guys to be listening to Unhinged today. We're going to get it like later this week. I'll come in and we'll record the rest of it, and you'll get it probably like Wednesday, Thursday, kind of like midweek you'll get it. And then next Monday we'll be doing another movie. But for now, enjoy this. Enjoy hearing about the 20 greatest wrestlers of all time. Braden, you got anything you want to add? No, you don't have anything you want to add. Go fuck yourself. Thanks for listening, guys. Keep coming back to the 5-6 Kings. I love you all. Thank you for your understanding.
You know what time it is? Where my Florida niggas at? You know my motherfucking name. Where you from? Smooth, bitch. Where you from? Yeah. Where you from? Palm Beach, where you from? Lauderdale, where you from? Hollandale, where you from? Dade County, where you from? Tampa Bay, where you from? Orange County, niggas from? Polk County, niggas from? Duval, where you from? Got it on your mind. The niggas let us know when them bullets gon' fire. You gon' get your ass told. Cause they don't have Florida. The niggas gon' report. If you're standing in the way, then your ass got to go. Motherfucker, get back. Motherfucker, get back. Motherfucker, get back. The fuck up out the way. Don't make us have a spray. See them niggas don't pay.
Hello, all you beautiful listeners out there. This is Braden from the 5-6 Kings Sports, and today I am with my fellow friends David and Hoff. Go ahead and say hi, guys.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen?
How you doing, Hoff?
You know, it is just a wonderful day.
It is.
Hanging with you guys here, talking about greatness here.
It is greatness. David, how you doing?
Braden, I'm doing all right. How you doing, man?
Pretty good.
All right.
Thanks. Guys, we are going to be going over...
Is that enough chit-chat? Or?
No, actually, I want more. How's your day going? Like, how's it, like, from start to finish? If you could get up to the exact moment of where you are now, that'd be great.
All right, so I woke up, definitely jerked off. I don't know what to, but I can't imagine I started my day without
Flare the
doing that.
dopamine, I feel it.
Yeah. Took a quick shower.
Nice.
Got dressed. Stopped at Harold's Coffee Lounge. Second time Harold's been brought up on a 5-6 Kings broadcast.
Subway, low competition.
That's who?
Oh, that's right.
This is 5-6 Kings Sports. We don't talk about them here.
Yeah, that's right.
All right? If they're going to not pay us, they're only getting on one of our podcasts.
Yeah.
Grabbed coffee. Went to my brother's house where my sister's there with her son. Hung out by the pool. Did some shit. My other brother was there with his daughter. My sister Jen drove from across the state with her son. So I was there for breakfast. We had quiche.
Well, yeah, what'd you have?
roasted vegetable and then a spinach
Fuck
and artichoke quiche. Very good.
Sounds good.
Very, very tasteful. And then we had some pulled pork, small. Wasn't a lot. Neither of them were very big portions, but had some very good pulled pork. And then I got in my car and I drove here, stopped and got 2 bangs. One, a Bankster berry for me and a strawberry for Braden.
Thank you, David.
And then we're going to be watching Unhinged for our other podcast after this. So I grabbed some Reese's pretzels for
Nice.
Hoff and I to share, and a Kit Kat Big Cat that I put in the freezer. I'm excited for that. It's Big Cat.
Yeah.
Then Hoff came here and we started the podcast.
Big Cat, Big Hoff, Big Things. That's what we're doing over here on the 5-6 King Sports podcast page. And David, I had some pulled pork too last night from Park Avenue Barbecue.
Oh, I don't give a fuck. Why are you telling me this?
I don't know. Maybe if we shout out as many different places as possible, someone's going to give us some sponsorship money. That's what I'm going for.
That does sound delicious, though, Braden.
Oh, dude, I still got some in the fridge, Hoff, if you want some.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Yeah, maybe later. So, guys, we're going to be breaking down what was supposed to be the top 10 wrestlers of all time, but now...
It's not wrestlers. North American wrestlers of all time.
Okay. It's very specific. I like it, yeah.
Because like there's great wrestlers in Japan
Yeah, no, you're right.
that should make the top 20 but aren't making it.
You're 100% right. So, but instead we changed it to the top 20 Northern wrestlers of all time. So, I am hyped to break this down. I have been, and let me just say for the record, to be completely honest, I know David knows more about wrestling than I do.
I mean, for sure, without a doubt.
But that doesn't mean I don't have some good fucking picks. And we're going to really get to the nitty gritty because I know David's really going to bark down my fucking...
And so when we say North American, it's WWE, WWF, WCW, ECW, TNA, Impact, AEW, Ring of Honor,
the good ones.
NWA, Mid-South Wrestling, like anyone in like the continental United States. So not even North American. Because we don't have any like AAA Mexican wrestlers or any Canadian leagues. It's continental United States wrestling.
Yeah. So we're going to be breaking down the top 20. How are we going to do this? We're going to go from the 20 to 1, right? We're going to go descending, right? So we're going to go, each person's going to say their 20 pick, and we're going to go from each pick all the way down to 1. And then we get some honorable mentions as well, and it's going to be a great time. So if you guys think differently, or if you agree with me, maybe disagree with Hoff, because whatever, right below, comment. Let's see your top 20. I want to hear. We're interested. This is all about community once again, and let's. You guys ready? You guys ready to get into it?
You betcha.
All right. Who's going to start first? Who's going to start this rotation off?
I think you should start the rotation off, Braden.
All right, well...
I think you should... We can go, yep.
We need to go clockwise or counterclockwise?
Whichever way you want to go. DTB.
All right, so...
I want you to pick.
I want you to go second.
Deal. Braden?
All right, I'm going to start us off. So we're going to go from 20 down, all right? So my... This is going to be great. My 20th pick is Booker T. Booker fucking T, baby. You know what the fuck's going on. Booker T. What do you guys got to say about that?
No. You need to sell us on Booker T being in the top 20. Not what do you guys have to say. I don't agree with it, but let's hear your reasoning for Booker T.
I mean, he's just a 6-time world champion. He won a WCW heavyweight championship 5 fucking times. And, even the WWE's heavyweight championship once. So, I mean, I think he's had an awesome career. I mean, he's for sure a legend. He's for sure going to be, is he not a Hall of Famer or is he? He's a Hall of Famer, right?
Dude, it infuriates me that you have him. He's a 2-time Hall of Famer.
2-time Hall of Famer.
He made it as Booker T and the Harlem Heat. His tag team made it into the Hall of Fame, but you don't fucking know that.
But you're proving my point.
You just know the name Booker T. Yeah,
No.
Booker T's great. He's not a top 20. He's just not. He's great. But you don't know anything about him. You're just like, I love the name Booker T.
Yeah, I've always loved Booker T.
He did the spinneroonie, and I thought that was cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'd always thought he had, I thought he was great in the ring, for one. I thought he was athletic. I thought he had good style. I thought he was good on the mic. And I thought he was really good at creating controversy. And he was just the little bit of how do I say of kind of like
how you say in English, cucumber.
Yeah. I don't. How do you say that, David? But no, I mean, he had good style. You know, he had style that was different than basically everyone else. To where I don't know. I appreciated that about him. What do you guys got to say about that?
So I don't have him in my top 20. It's not the biggest reach ever.
Okay.
It's not bad. And you're going to hear my first person in the top 20. You're going to be like, the fuck are you talking about, David? But like, I don't think he's a top 20 guy. And you didn't know about his Hall of Fame credentials, and like you just like the spinneroonie, I think.
There's going to be a lot of shit, David, that I'm going to be left behind on when it comes to these statistics and shit. I'm going to look a little foolish today, people, but it's all good because I know my picks are fucking golden.
All right, so I'm going to give you guys my 20th. I can't imagine either of you have a woman on your list. Am I reaching and saying that?
No.
Yeah. There had to be a woman on the list. In the last 10 years, women's wrestling has like legitimately become on the same level as the men's wrestling. It is very good. They're very good. And there were three names that I had to pick from. Charlotte Flair, who if you look at resume, she's like a fucking 12-time world champion or something crazy. She's great in the ring. She's Ric Flair's daughter. Becky Lynch, who is the female Stone Cold, like, not even joking, like a couple years ago, it was a whole thing. She was calling herself the man. She main evented WrestleMania with Ronda Rousey and like badass. But I went with Sasha Banks, greatest women's wrestler in the ring of all time. I think without a doubt, like as far as being able to do a good match and put on a good show. She's great on the mic. She's charismatic, great character work. And this last year, her and Bianca Belair, first time in history, two black women main evented WrestleMania, and it was a good match. It wasn't Sasha Banks' best. Her best match was in NXT, which is WWE's developmental league, and it was against Bayley at TakeOver Brooklyn. It was might have been the best match that year. Sasha Banks maybe isn't worthy of being in the top 20,
but it seems respectable.
But I think greatest women's wrestler of all time, and she's 27 right now.
Holy shit.
She's got years to keep growing. I think she'll be in everybody's top 20 by the end of her career.
Oh, shit.
I'm not upset about that, but I guess she's newer to the scene, correct?
Within the last 7-8 years.
Yeah, so I probably wouldn't know much of her, but I did see something about her with Snoop Dogg and her wearing Eddie Guerrero's like pants or something like that.
She's Snoop Dogg's cousin.
Is she?
Yeah.
Oh wow, nice. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put her in my top 20. I just don't know enough about her. But yeah, I mean, you're probably right. Like over the long term, she might, seems like a crazy resume, and like for being so young, seems like she's done so much. So if she, stays in it, she seems like she's gonna have the craziest fucking women's wrestling career of all time.
I just feel it would have been a disservice to what women's wrestling is today.
Yeah, if you didn't have,
and I could have been like, Trish Stratus or Lita, but I don't think either of them deserve to be in the top fucking 50.
Yeah, I can't argue against that, Yeah. That's a sweet pick, David. Good for you, man.
All right, so for my number 20, I went with someone you guys probably either have higher on your list or maybe just, I don't know. But I have the Ultimate Warrior at number 20.
Nice.
At number 20.
Ultimate Warrior. Okay.
What do you think, Braden?
I mean, seems like a good pick. I just, what's he got on Booker T? Am I right?
I got him a lot higher on my list.
My list is it's more of it. I mean, I would rank it more to like favorite. My list is probably more favorite wrestlers than better wrestlers, but there are in my upper are great wrestlers, but a lot of my list has my favorite.
Yeah, and I think both of our lists will have like Sasha Banks. She's my favorite women's wrestler, and I had to get her on the list.
Yeah,
like I think both of our lists will reflect that.
Yeah, I think you guys are gonna hate my fucking list.
So that's probably why the Ultimate Warrior is just down way down there. I probably have more people that I like that I ended up throwing on my list than you guys probably maybe put better wrestlers ahead of them.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's a pretty good one. All right, so that's 20. You guys ready for 19?
Let's do it.
All right, buckos, don't get mad at me, all right? It's Kurt Angle. Kurt fucking Angle. The dude that fucking, won Olympic gold with a broken freaking neck. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, I mean, what do I need? How much do I need to say about this fucking dude? He's like one of the fucking best, am I right? What do you?
I mean, he's your 19th best.
Yeah.
I agree. He's one of the fucking best.
Yeah.
You got him at 19, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I got him at 19.
Sounds like I'm going to have to say a lot about Kurt Angle.
Yeah, you're going to have to say a lot about him. But yeah, I think Kurt Angle is 19. I always enjoyed watching him going up. I always thought that he was fucking super athletic, and I always thought his trash talk was shit. I ain't gonna lie. One thing I did not like about him was his trash talk. Like, his interaction was always so goofy, and it just didn't seem genuine enough or anything to where I wasn't hyped for that. I just was hyped for him to perform.
That was his thing, though.
Of what? Seeming super goofy?
He's like the goofy white guy.
Yeah, no, for sure. But, like, it was just, I don't know.
It'd be crazy if he came out like John Cena and was like, yo. I'd be like, oh, fuck this guy.
No, but even when he wasn't, like, trying to be goofy, he was still goofy. But, yeah, he did try to be goofy. Yeah.
It ended up being his thing where he would try to get the people to basically hate him.
Yeah, and hate him, too. But I just didn't, like, I don't know. You're right. It's part of his character.
It worked on you.
It's part of, yeah, I guess you're right then. It worked on me. It wasn't as much I did.
Sounds like he just did great character work.
No.
He got the desired reaction out of you.
He did, but it wasn't just because of that. I also didn't like his performance, which is like added to it though. So like,
what do you mean his performance?
Like not physical performance in the ring.
Okay, I was gonna say Kurt Angle could have had a great match with fucking anybody. What are you talking about?
That's okay. That's why I liked him. That's why I put him 19th, because I felt like he was so good physically in the ring with everything he was able to do and his moves and everything. But I didn't like his acting, basically.
I don't know. I mean, I liked his skits behind, like, backstage skits. That
to me,
did.
It took me out of the whole thing rather than put me more in it. If that makes sense. Like, instead of being deeper into either his character arc or the story or whatever, it kind of just took me out, and I felt like I wasn't in watching, like...
So what you're saying makes sense. You're just wrong, though.
Okay.
That's the thing.
He's my 19th pick. You guys got to be the one. Yeah.
It's my number 19 for me, Mick Foley.
Yeah, good pick.
If he was better, if he was a better wrestler... If that makes sense. Like, his matches were always insane. It was crazy shit going on. If he was like Kurt Angle, though, in the ring, physically, he'd be so much higher for me.
Yeah.
But, like, I mean, Mick Foley, Mankind, Dude Love, Cactus Jack, Mr. Sacco, getting thrown off the fucking Hell in a Cell, like, the street fight with Triple H at the Royal Rumble
that's
we
why I
watched
love
earlier.
him.
Like, that's why he's on the list. Because, like, I've never watched a Mick Foley match. I'm like, it was boring.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to get.
What else is on? Like, it's never happened.
You never know what you're going to get with a Mick Foley match.
He was one, like, probably, during the Attitude Era, most exciting wrestler.
Well, and he kind of, like, helped make that era, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Absolutely.
He made a lot of things what it was.
Him winning the WWF title on Raw is what flipped that's how WWF beat WCW in the ratings. Because Tony Schiavone jumped on the thing and he's like, oh, Guys, because Nitro, they would always blow the ending to Raw. Mm-hmm. At the end of their show, they'd say what was going to, because Raw was pre-taped. They'd say how it ended so people wouldn't switch over to Raw. And Tony Schiavone's like, yeah, Mick Foley's going to win the world title over in that promotion. What a joke is that? And millions of people were like, oh, that's fucking sick. Let's switch over to that. That's going to be wild. And
Yeah,
it was.
man.
It was wild. Triple H in the main event won the title.
And you know, it was kind of like the beginning and the end almost in a way to like an era. To like the crazy shit that he did to the point to where I felt like, besides the other dude you showed me, I can't remember his name.
Nick Gage.
Yeah.
And that's so like, he was the one who, because like ECW was awesome and they were doing shit like that all the time, but he's the one who did it. Like, no one in WWF.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
yeah.
He's the one who brought it to a mainstream audience. People were like, this is wild.
And I felt like over his career was what like established what it was, and then also was like, okay, we can. I don't know if we could keep this going after this man, kind of thing. Like to keep the I don't. They don't do those same type of things in WWE anymore.
But also they're trying to appeal
to a younger crowd.
They're rated PG.
No,
and
for sure.
They try to get kids to watch now.
That was my point. It's kind of, it seemed like it was like only over the course or a little bit after his career. You know.
Yeah.
So I appreciated that so much of Mick.
Hoff, number 19.
All right, so my number 19 is probably way higher on Braden's
Yeah,
than
probably.
it is mine, and it might even be on David's as well. But my number 19 is going to be Eddie Guerrero.
Ah, nice.
Man was a legend,
Dude,
I mean,
he was-
childhood loved watching him.
He's fucking electrifying, isn't he?
Absolutely loved watching him. What you think? What you think, DTB?
Can't tell you, that might make you guys a little sick. Honorable mention for me. I felt bad doing it
Yeah.
because I loved Eddie Guerrero, but I just felt like that would have just been an emotional, like, oh, I loved him so much as a kid, and then he died when I was a kid. Felt like that would have been an emotional reaction putting Eddie Guerrero on the list, and I couldn't do it. I didn't feel good about leaving him off.
I'm happy you're saying this
So
now because I'm just thinking in the back of my mind how much you guys are going to hate me, I feel like, for some of my picks.
No. So here's the thing: Eddie Guerrero belongs on your guys' lists
Yeah.
for sure. I didn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I mean, I know Braden loves him more than both of us, and I couldn't leave him. That's why he's 19. I couldn't leave him off.
You know how many times I got frog splashed by Hoff growing up on the trampoline? Boy almost
frog
broke my ribs probably like
splashes
30 times.
all the time. Frog splashes anywhere.
Bro, that was one of the hypest things you could hit on the trampoline, boy, is the frog splash. Oh, man. Yeah. No, that was a good pick. So are we on 18 now?
Yeah.
18? Dude. All right, so 18 for me is Sting. You know, I mean, he is basically WCW. I don't know, like, he's a fucking Hall of Famer, legend, everything. I have Sting as 18. Is he too high? Do you guys think he's too high on my list? Or too low, I guess?
Yeah, I think that's a fair spot to have Sting. Yeah, he's. I don't know about Nick. He's making my list.
No, yeah, he's on my list. You'll be seeing him soon.
Okay, good. I passed this round, guys. Don't worry. I made it through.
I don't think 18's a bad place to have him. I have him a little bit higher, but it's.
Dude, I know there's going to be a couple that you're going to be like, Braden, what the fuck?
For sure. For sure. I'm waiting for the lid. So, like, Booker T, I was worried. So, guys, like a year and a half ago, I visited Braden in L.A., and we just started, like, talking about wrestling in the car. And we were talking about who the greatest of all time. And the first name that came out of Braden's mouth, he's like, well, Booker T's up there. I was like, what? I was like, that's how you're starting this conversation? You're just going to throw Booker T? So I was very worried Booker T. I knew he wouldn't make Booker T number one. But I was worried Booker T was going to be in, like, his top 5. like I was so, like, 20, I was like, all right, whatever. Like, it's
I loved
fine.
his, I don't even know what to call it. I don't even know the name, but the stiff leg that he fucking hit.
The scissor kick.
The scissor kick,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, like, not Booker T. Sting at 18, I think, is fair. I have him a little bit higher. He's going to be soon, though.
Okay, cool. All right, what you guys put, David, for 18?
18, I got Bruno Sammartino. I'd be lying if I said I watched a ton of Bruno Sammartino matches and all that shit, but he was WWF for Vince McMahon Sr. He was the big draw there. He was the champion for 2,803 days. Like that was his reign. It's a title reign that's
How
never
long?
going to be broken. 2,803 days.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So it's like, was it 6-7 years?
Holy
Like that's
shit,
just
dude.
fuck you long amount of time.
I think I saw it was for WCW. I forget who it was, but their longest reigning time of being champion was 693 days, I think it was. So for fucking 2,000
Yeah.
plus, that's insane.
It's insane. And he was the first proper like attraction. It was all Northeast wrestling. Like Madison Square Garden was Bruno Sammartino's arena. He was the first like proper like, oh, you got to go see Bruno Sammartino. It wasn't just, oh, let's go watch wrestling. It was, oh, let's go watch Bruno Sammartino, in the same sense that it was, let's go watch Hulk Hogan. Let's go watch Andre the Giant. Let's go watch John Cena. Obviously, wrestling wasn't as big then. I mean, if someone who's like 70 years old right now is listening, they're probably like, oh, why is Bruno so low on this guy's list? I never watched Bruno. So like I grew up.
Dude, this man is big.
I was born 25 years after he was popular. But yeah, I think he has to be on the top 20 list. If I knew more about him and grew up watching him, he'd be higher, but I think 18 works.
Man, I wish sometimes that obviously they only have so much time to show all the things that they do in WWE. I wish sometimes they paid like a little bit more tribute to some of these other people. I don't know. Maybe they do and I just don't see it as much or something. But I don't know. I feel like growing up, they could have maybe painted some of these people even more than...
For sure, but like when we were growing up, they were like, they were battling against WCW.
Oh, I know
like,
the times are crazy.
We can't rest on our past. We need to show how awesome the product is today.
Yeah. I just wish I would have known more about him.
Now
growing
that
up.
they're like the only game in town, there's a lot of like they talk about Bruno Sammartino and the Ultimate Warrior and Lou Thez.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this buddy was
Lou Thez making your list, Nick. You got the Thez press in here.
Absolutely not, David.
All right, so who you got, Hoff?
All right, so my number 18 is going with Mick Foley.
Nice.
So, I mean, he's...
respectable, you know what I mean?
I mean, just him, all of his hardcore matches and the cage Hell in a Cell matches, the thumbtacks. Gotta have him up there.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like we're going to be on Mick Foley all night. For sure, man. Sacco. Come on.
Sacco, and even like...
Cactus Jack.
No, so he like in like the early 90s was wrestling crazy hardcore matches, and then WrestleMania like 22 or 23 had a hardcore match with Edge that was fucking wild.
Yeah.
And Mick Foley was like in his late 40s and just a broken down man. He got speared through a flaming table. Like, Mick Foley's out of his fucking mind. I wish I could, like, it would have been silly to put him number one, but I'd love to just have him number one. Like, he's the greatest of all time. Nobody does what Mick Foley does. He's the greatest of all time.
Yeah, no, it's a respectable spot. All right, 17.
But before we go to 17, you need to stop saying respectable spot.
I thought it was a respectable spot.
You need to quit saying it.
But what if it was a respectable spot?
Find a different way to say it.
All
You
right.
say it too much, and it sounds like you aren't really paying attention. You're just trying to further the dialogue.
No. I'm
You're
not.
like, yeah,
I'm,
no, respectable spot. So we going to 17 boys or what?
I'm not creating filler. I think that's what I thought. But if I thought it was a shit fucking pick, I would have told Hoff. I would have said
I
that's.
don't think you would have told Hoff.
I would have
I
said.
think you would have told me. I don't think you would have told Hoff. I
know-
get a soft spot for Hoff.
I was gonna say, you know me
I
too
can
well,
let him
David.
say some stuff.
You know, I'm too sweet sometimes. All right. It's a flaw of mine. Fuck you
All right,
guys.
17, let's hear it.
17 for me is Bret Hitman Hart. What you guys think about that? Huh?
Why do you have him there?
I know, that he's definitely making my top 20. This was kind of like hard for me where to put him, but I don't know. I just didn't. What's funny is going to be my next 2 picks after this, or the next 2 or 3. I think is going to be the ones that get y'all hot. But no, yeah, I knew he had to make my top 20, and I felt like to me personally, he's around the same level as Sting to me, like the way that I appreciate him and everything like that. And yeah, I think he's one of the best of all time.
Well, you think he's the 17th best of all time.
Yeah, exactly. In that specific order, in that exact order. There's a long, hard thought, and there, it was between him and one other person. I don't want to say that other person, maybe in the honorable mentions, but yeah. It was between, I'll say it later. I'll remember when to say it later.
Unrespectable spot.
I want to know why.
I think he's higher.
I agree with Hoff. I think he's, I got him higher on my list.
Yeah, so you guys are going to flip out over my next pick.
So we can say unrespectable spot here, Braden.
Yeah, okay, great. Now we're getting somewhere. No filler here, baby. All right?
All right, you want number 17 for me?
Yeah.
Andre the Giant. Greatest big man in wrestling history. I mean, unless you consider, like, The Undertaker a big man. And he's not the greatest big man in wrestling history. But, I mean, he was Hulk Hogan. If Hulk Hogan body slams anyone else in the WWF at WrestleMania 3, nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
Andre the Giant was such a big fucking draw. Did he put on great matches? Absolutely not. I've never watched an entire Andre the Giant match and been like, man, this is just great.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, that match, Hulk Hogan, it sucked. But it was just such a huge, like, oh, Hulk Hogan's body slamming that guy. This is awesome. Andre the Giant was such a presence.
Exactly.
And he brought wrestling to mainstream. Dude, he was in the fucking Princess Bride.
Yeah, he was a spectacle.
Anybody want a peanut? Like he was such a big draw, such a larger-than-life character. Like Braden at one point said the Big Show was bigger than Andre the Giant, like star-wise, more people. I want you guys to comment on the bottom of this. Send us an email, say whatever. But I think Braden's out of his mind. I think so many people, like just casual people, will hear Big Show and be like, I don't know, who the fuck is that? They'll hear Andre the Giant and they'll be like, oh yeah. Yeah, Andre the Giant.
So, all right, so I think David has a good point.
Well, no, hold on.
In a way, but I was going to...
Before you even say that,
He never talks. What are you doing?
You,
Let Nick talk.
you literally got upset. You stood up and you were yelling at us
and I was
about Andre the Giant.
Guys, I looked at Nick and I was like, dude, I could very easily right now get Braden to try to fist fight one of us. Like he's so close to the edge right now, I could very easily push him over and then we're fist fighting. I was like, this is wild how upset Braden's getting over this.
So I got pissed off, all right? And don't get me all fucking riled up, David. All right, so the reason why, it was more like a misunderstanding, but still, we don't agree. So my point was the whole popularity thing. Like, and David has a good point. Like, Andre the Giant is a bigger name to where, like, if you were to ask most people, like, do you know about Andre the Giant? They'd be like, oh, I've heard of him. But, like, who has seen actually Andre the Giant wrestle compared to seeing the Big Show? There's no question who's the more popular wrestler to me. I mean, if you just think about it, I mean,
so like that's just like wrestling was way more popular when the Big Show, and maybe not, dude. Maybe not way more popular.
Well, even if it wasn't way more popular, the thing is the outrage.
I think way more people know about WrestleMania 3, Andre the Giant, and Hulk Hogan than anybody knows about the Big Show existing.
They might know the name, but there's more people who have seen the Big Show wrestle than Andre the Giant. That's like, to me, that's like without a doubt.
Mean,
there's no way.
More okay.
Well, because Big Show's on cable television, bro.
Okay, so maybe more eyes have seen the Big Show. That doesn't make him more popular than Andre the Giant.
I think
that just
does.
means more eyes have seen him,
dude. So like, I don't even know if football was on TV when Johnny Unitas played. Johnny Unitas is far more popular than John Denny, who was the Dolphins' long snapper for 15 years in the 2000s.
That's not going to work for me, David. I don't know either of those people.
So Johnny Unitas is a Hall of Fame quarterback, very popular.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy that that's your argument. Like Big Show he was fine, but he's just kind of there when fucking Stone Cold was the most popular thing in the world, and The Rock was the most popular thing in the world.
Yeah, well, but when they're the most popular in the world, they're taking wrestling to whole new heights where there's more of an audience now.
That doesn't make the Big Show popular.
But it does actually make him more popular.
It makes the product popular, not more popular than Andre the Giant.
But no. But when Big Show is a huge name who is in the majority of the times like the top matches of any pay-per-view, and he is a 7-3, the biggest fucking athlete in sports entertainment, at that time. To me, I think he's more popular because he's being seen.
Crazy.
People recognize who you can't not recognize who the Big Show is. Same thing with if you
is the Great Khali more popular than Andre the Giant?
No.
So the Great Khali was like main eventing SummerSlam,
but he wasn't more popular than the Big Show either.
And he main evented SummerSlam. Big Show's never done that. And he was in like WrestleMania matches, and he was in The Longest Yard.
No, I know. It was good, but
argument can be made he's more popular than the Big Show.
Okay, here's another good argument. Who had a longer career? Who had more matches? Who had more title defenses, title matches, titles in general? The Big Show.
Dolph Ziggler. Do you know who Dolph Ziggler is?
No.
Yeah, like dude, so like that's the thing. Like that doesn't make.
But that's not what we're talking about. Though.
Popular.
We're talking about Andre the Giant.
Yeah,
and the
but
Big Show.
So Big Show probably had more matches.
That's what I'm saying.
That doesn't mean he's more popular.
But he had more pay-per-views. He had more everything.
Matter.
He had more of everything, bro. More views. More tape.
So like,
more everything.
There's actors who have been in more movies than Tom Cruise.
Hold on, but then,
are they more popular or more famous than Tom Cruise?
They are when that movie is played more than Tom Cruise's movie. When they have a bigger budget for that movie than Tom Cruise's movie, then
Nick, who's number 17? Who's number 17 on your list?
We're gonna get back into it again.
I know. That's why I don't want to. I know Big Show's somewhere on your fucking list. That's why I don't want to spend
so
so much time on it right here.
Yeah,
that's disgusting, Braden. Big Show on your list, but my number 17 is going to be Bruno Sammartino. Man was the champ. Is he the longest reigning champ ever?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't not have him on your top 20 list. I didn't really see him.
How was the competition though back in the day? I don't know.
I mean,
wrestling's fucking fake, Braden. Doesn't matter how the competition was.
I mean, it does though.
He was their guy
because the competition isn't like what you're saying. I mean, it's the style. It's all these things that sell. So like, if there wasn't as good of selling competition, then that person's going to say that the champ longer.
He was basically their guy that people would come and see, that they wanted to see, so they had the belt on him for however many years that he was there.
Good point. It's a good argument point too.
How was the competition, you fucking psycho? Yeah, like Bruno Sammartino was the first like, oh, this is in North America, this is a superstar wrestler. That had never been a thing. It was like the promotions were a big deal. Like, oh, the NWA is the NWA, and the WWF is the WWF. Like, and then it was like, oh shit, no, like we want to go watch Bruno Sammartino wrestle. That was the first time that had ever happened in the U.S. He's got to make a top 20 list. He created like, oh, you can build your promotion around a superstar. That had never been a thing before.
Good point.
Is that a respectable spot?
No, it's just a good point. All right, so we're getting into
16.
16. This is where you guys. This is.
Are we gonna yell? Are we gonna be upset, Braden?
Yes, this is probably gonna be the one that hurts you the most. Rey Mysterio.
I'm not that angry about it. So he didn't make my list, but greatest Mexican luchador wrestler in like the U.S. history. Like,
I think he's one of the best like athletic performers in wrestling entertainment of all time.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's bad to have him on there.
You know what? I thought that was the one.
No. I mean, he could. He's not on my list, but he could easily make someone's list. I mean, he was doing crazy shit off the ropes.
Yeah,
everything.
I think he began a whole new style of the jumping feats that people did, like the creativity in the jumps.
He
is like
brought
what I'm saying.
that.
The athleticism and.
He brought that to WWE that basically no one has seen.
Yeah.
But it's been down in Mexico for a while.
Yeah.
He brought that culture from there, and he brought it and showed it in the WWE.
Well said. Yeah. And I just feel like since him, people started getting crazier with their style of movements. I feel like he kind of started like...
Oh, for sure. He was the first, like... Because Lucha Libre wrestling has existed forever in Mexico and South America and Central America, but he brought it to a mainstream audience with WCW, and there were there's Juventud Guerrero and Eddie Guerrero even. There were others in WCW, but like he brought it to WWE, and I'm sure tons of kids who are wrestling today and doing crazy shit, like they saw Rey Mysterio do it on SmackDown, and were like, oh my god, I want to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's... Had you had him in like your another like Booker T thing, had you had him in your top 5, I'd be like, you're out of your mind.
Yeah.
But like I didn't put him on the top 20. That doesn't mean he shouldn't be in the top 20 though.
Okay, dope. All right.
Yeah,
sweet.
I'm fine. Braden was getting antsy before
I was
this
getting
one. He was
worried.
fucking ready. Like he's tense over there. He's fucking ready. He's like, I'm ready to go to battle for this one. He's like, I would die for Rey Mysterio. You know, fun fact.
Let me hear it.
Rey Mysterio fucking killed a guy in the ring once.
Oh, dude, break this down for me.
He hit him with the 619 and just like hit him in the head with his knee in the wrong place. The guy died.
Are you serious?
100%.
From the 619?
100%. This is like 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, I saw an
Like in the
article on
temple,
it.
like got kneed in the temple?
He I guess he broke the guy's neck,
Holy fuck.
and the guy like fell down and was laying on there, and he ended up dying. I guess he broke his neck, and
Who's that guy?
it's some Mexican. It was in a.
Who was that guy?
Who was that guy? Oh my god. Can't believe I repeated it.
That's terrible. That's bad.
You even repeated it like, you're right, I'm sorry. You realized, like, oh, wait, no, fuck you.
Yeah. Oh, man. Now I could totally see if you fucked with someone's teleprompter. Like, how fucked up that would be. 'Cause you wouldn't even notice that you did it. It's like that movie with Will Ferrell where
That movie with Will Ferrell? Come on. What's wrong with you? Anchorman.
yeah. Oh man, I'm off one today.
All right.
So
Number 16 for me,
yeah,
Macho Man Randy Savage.
nice.
I wanted to put him higher. It's fucking, I want to put everyone higher. I want everyone to be number one. Macho Man, like his character was like, who doesn't do the, oh yeah, when you're in there with the Macho Man Randy Savage, like who doesn't love doing that? Oh yeah. His WrestleMania 3, Macho Man, Bruno Sammartino, or not Bruno Sammartino, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. They sound very similar to me. If you're listening and you have not watched that match, go watch that match. It is a classic. It's one of the greatest matches of all time. And I was thinking Macho Man was like a huge over-the-top, like a Hulk Hogan type character. Hulk Hogan wasn't like, as far as like carrying a long wrestling match, don't get me wrong, Hulk Hogan's amazing. If you don't love Hulk Hogan other than his racist shit, you're out of your mind. Yeah. But like Macho Man was Hulk Hogan, but drops an elbow off the top rope and puts on just amazing matches with whoever he's in there with. The Mega Powers, Slim Jims. I went to Walmart in Jupiter when I was a child when his rap album Be a Man Hogan got released in like 2003.
How was it?
I mean, it was horrible, but I went there. I met him, got an autograph. Like it's yeah. Macho
up,
Man,
brother?
He does it all. Macho Man, I think 16. It's a shame that he has to be that low, but I don't know where else I could have put him.
Yeah, I think would you say he has the most iconic voice in wrestling entertainment of all time?
Yeah, probably. Like who else?
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, fuck, who else would, maybe Stone Cold? Like voice wise, like
I don't think voice wise Stone Cold at all.
like if you just heard it, you'd be like, oh, I know exactly who that is. It's so you know.
I don't know
apparent.
that I think Macho Man,
Just him. You think he's the
Ric
most?
Flair.
Yeah,
But
because
that's
he's got
that's not even voice. That's just woo. Like
well, he's got like almost like a lisp in a way. You can kind of tell it's him.
No, I mean, there's not really a different. The other wrestlers don't have a different voice. I would say they more have just notable sayings. Randy Savage has a notable voice. You hear him, you're like, oh, that's Randy Savage.
So then, would you also say he's like the most? How do I?
popular wrestler of all time.
You're so quick, David. I love it. But would you say he's like one of the best performative wrestlers then, like when it comes to, you know, basically speaking and
So, I mean, I think like most of the people that are on my list are in that category. Like do I think he's the best talker? No,
yeah, that's what I was kind of
like cutting a promo. Like
I wouldn't think
don't
so
his
either.
are
I
up
just
there,
thought
but I think his voice,
is the most
his
recognizable.
character, him being the mega powers with his feud with Hulk Hogan leading into WrestleMania fucking 5, I don't know, is one of the best of all time. Like it's his character work, the storylines
that paved the way for a lot of
like,
things. Yeah,
he's great.
nice.
Hoff.
This might seem a little weird that I'm not like Braden. Like I look at people's lists and stuff.
What happened?
I also at number 16 have Randy Savage.
Oh wow!
I guess you can call me and DTB the duo over here.
You can call us the mega powers, huh? Like Hulk and Macho Man.
I fucking like it.
All right, then I guess we'll move on to 15. I have Eddie Guerrero. Right?
I thought he was going to be way higher on your list.
Because of the frog splash?
No, just because you were. I thought, I don't know. I mean, back in the day, you were in love with him.
I would shake my fucking.
So him,
David, what'd you call my my chest back in the day? My now manly fucking chest. What'd you call it? You used to make fun of me. You used to say some fucked up shit.
Did you have boobs?
You said something. I don't know what.
I don't know. You were a fat kid. You probably had boobs. I probably called them boobs.
But I'm saying I'm doing the Eddie Guerrero.
You say like there was a proper name I had for it. I probably called them boobs and tits.
He probably said you were doing the truffle shuffle or something.
No, what was because you guys are assholes. What was my nickname growing up?
I don't fucking remember.
It was something. It was braces. It was something with braces.
Brace face?
Fuck. It was way meaner than that. You guys are fucking underplaying it. These guys are assholes for everyone listening in. You know, I went through some trauma growing up. That's how I have my trust issues, David. It's fucking it's you and Hoff. Oh my god, they used to call me this is booby brace face. That's what. It was booby brace face.
That is. I mean, that's hilarious. that is a great
Hoff
nickname.
Reminded me, it was.
And you know what? Look at you now, though. Fucking shredded, dude.
Dude, that's
Look
all
at
it
you.
took.
There we go.
10
You're
years
welcome.
of torment.
You're fucking welcome.
Yeah, I used to do the Eddie Guerrero dance all the time for any. If you guys don't know what that is, is there a name for the dance? It's like you're shimming in your fucking your tits.
Yeah, you either know it or you don't.
Yeah,
you've either seen Eddie Guerrero do it, you know exactly what it is.
Yeah, when he wins the belt, he fucking puts the belt in one hand. He goes from side to side. And he's jiggling his shit.
Yeah, and so like Eddie Guerrero, I'm hearing you guys talk about. I wish he was on my top 20, but because just in the ring, he was so great,
dude.
Always put on great matches, and also dude, like his character, his thing was that he lies, cheats, and steals.
Dude, on the cover right there,
a character that should not be the most popular wrestler,
dude,
but he made it work, and everyone's like, "We fucking love this guy."
I had the cover. It's for No Way Out. It's Eddie Guerrero's face on it. It says lying, cheating, stealing.
So when he won the belt?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, we gotta watch that.
Oh yeah, we can throw that in any time.
That is great.
Yeah. So that was was that 16 or 15? 15, right? Yeah, it's 15. Yeah, 15. So what you got, David?
15 for me. This is where I put Sting. Sting's wrestled. Sting wrestles today.
Yeah.
By the way,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
wrestled in 5 different decades. That's with so many different promotions: WCW, TNA, WWE. He's in AEW now. Like
Is
Sting,
it him or
Sting,
Hulk
he wrestled
Hogan?
over. He wrestled over in Japan. Like Sting is just. He's been around for so long. Early years Sting, always putting on great matches. His early matches with Ric Flair and WCW were great. When he started painting his face black and white and going after the NWO, that was awesome. And when he came to WWE, his first entrance, it was like a Survivor Series match. He makes a surprise entrance. The crowd just fucking loses it.
Yeah.
It goes dark, there's some noises, and then you see Sting's face on the screen, and everyone just fucking snaps. That's the kind of stuff. I'm easy as a wrestling fan. I want to be surprised that someone's showing up, and I want to see the crowd go insane.
Yeah.
I'm going to spoil it. He's not on my list, but CM Punk, when he just came back in Chicago,
Yeah, David, you just showed me that.
I've watched that probably 10 times. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is the crazy, the crowd, I've never seen a crowd do that.
It was fucking loud as shit before he was even coming out.
Yeah, there were grown men just weeping in the crowd. It's wild, guys. Just tears streaming down his face. I'm like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
This is great. But, Sting stuck through WCW with all, the NWO, and, he was getting pushed down the card, and he stuck around and, kept doing it. He's like, no, I'm a WCW wrestler.
So does
I'll be here until the doors close.
So does he have the longest career, or will he have the longest career then?
I don't know.
Probably, all time?
Probably. Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Because if he doesn't now, who would it be then? Hulk Hogan?
Definitely not Hulk Hogan.
He probably has.
Because he stopped what?
Sting probably has the longest mainstream career.
Yeah.
I'm sure guys have gone off TV and have wrestled for a while, but
Yeah. No, I saw someone else. I forget his name, but it was I think he was a Hall of Famer, and he was wrestling at some fucking high school, and it was kind of almost sad to see.
Yeah, I hate seeing those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking Terry Funk, who's unretired. No, Terry Funk might have the longest career. He was supposed to retire in 98, and might still be wrestling today.
Dude, that sucks.
So
bro.
Terry Funk might be number 1.
Unless they really, really enjoy it, but if they're just doing it for money, that's just sad. I feel like
It's a mix. It's
Could be both, yeah.
just like Ric Flair. It was Ric Flair fucking drinking and shit. There's a whole 30 for 30 thing on him, and it was Triple H is he couldn't go from being limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing. It's not he didn't know how to shut off Ric Flair and be a normal person in society. He's he fucking almost killed himself.
It's the Ricky O'Rourke, or what's his name? Mickey
Rourke.
Yeah, Mickey Rourke. It's his movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I didn't know. Sorry,
My bad.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
no, you're.
I started off wrong,
Yeah.
but yeah. What you got, Hoff, for 15?
number 15 here. I'm gonna ruffle. This is gonna ruffle Braden's feathers too, because
I'm chirping, Hoff. Let me hear it.
number 15, I got the greatest big man of all time,
It's got to be Big Show.
Andre the Giant, the most popular big man, traveled across the world from sea to sea, crossed all the oceans to be the people's big man.
Go ahead and rub it in my
Andre
face.
the Giant, the greatest big man ever.
Okay. I feel that.
Braden does not like that at all. Look at him over there.
You know what? It hurts so much inside, because you guys want to know who my 14 is?
No.
Andre the Giant.
Is he?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
You better not have the Big Show on this list now. If the Big Show makes your top 10, I am gonna fucking just start smashing shit. That is crazy.
Yeah, so Andre the Giant is 14 for me. Higher on my list than he is on your guys' list.
Respectable spot.
Right?
Respectable spot. I don't know where you're gonna have Macho Man Randy Savage, but
Licking my lips.
so he better be on this list. But no, Andre deserves to be fucking top 15.
Yeah.
I won't argue that. Big Show does not deserve to be anywhere moving forward. That's where we might have a problem. but right now we're happy. Andre's where he should be.
Bada bing, bada boom. All right. What do you guys got?
I got Randy Orton.
Yeah.
Randy, youngest champion in history. He's a 14-time world champion. He's still in like main events in wrestling. He's been main eventing like WWE shows for 17, 18 years. Like, he's been there with John Cena the whole time, and he was never the guy. But he's been a top guy for so long, and his matches, like, he doesn't do anything cool in the ring, anything like that, but there's very few Randy Orton matches you watch where you're like, that match sucked.
Yeah.
He always puts on good matches. He knows what he's doing in there. His microphone worked. So in 2020, when there was like he did a thing with Edge. Edge came back from like triple spinal fusion surgery that he was out for 9 years and never should have wrestled again.
Jesus.
And came back, and he did a whole thing where like he like acted like he wanted to be a tag team with Edge again. Then he RKO's him, and then he gives him a concerto. And then the next week, Edge's wife came in the ring. He's like, I did it because I love your husband. I love your daughters. He's like, I did it. He like names the daughters. Like, I want him to be able to go to their volleyball games. I want him to be able to do this. And then he RKO's her. Like, like in 2020, Randy Orton flipped a switch where I was like, oh, he's the best on the microphone in wrestling in the fucking world right now.
Holy shit.
Which had never been his thing. Randy Orton 14. I think if John Cena didn't exist, Randy Orton would be much higher on the list for me. But it's tough to put someone who's like second or third best during his time and have him in the top 10.
I think, too, like Randy Orton and John Cena helped transition from what WWF and WWE used to be to what it is kind of today. Like, they were like this weird mix of being able to be the like how you were saying earlier, of John Cena's move changing from FU to, what is it now, Hoff?
Is it the attitude adjustment?
Yeah. So like,
I think they just call it the AA.
They found a way between like Randy Orton and I feel like John Cena and probably a couple other people too to take that attitude era and like dial it down through them. And now, I mean, now I feel like they've completely changed it from when they first started their career till now. It's changed. Like the industries, I feel like it's changed so much. Like the art of it, you know?
I mean, Randy Orton even came in, and then he went into Evolution. He was great.
Evolution is a mystery.
He was great in there. Left them, won the title, broke up, and then after that, was he the Legend Killer after that? Had great matches with Mick Foley, the hardcore match. That was great. Like, all of his stuff, like, I can't say anything like too bad about him. Like, I'm not mad that he's on that list right there.
Yeah.
And who doesn't fucking love the RKO? That's such a fun move.
I was gonna ask you, do you think that's like one of the most popular moves of all time?
It's up there. It's up there with like the stunner.
Because if you
figure
look,
4.
all I see all the time, dude, on like fucking House of Highlights or World Star is just people doing the RKO.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, out of nowhere.
Yeah, like that's
out of nowhere.
Like that became a huge, like a mainstream internet,
it's like a meme thing. Yeah,
RKO out of nowhere.
So now, because of that, I think it's almost one of the most popular. Like before, I wouldn't have said that, but the way people share videos of people doing it in the pool and shit all the time, like people aren't doing that with like fucking even
power bombs,
not even the Stone Cold Stunner. I mean,
yeah.
Even though that was one of my favorite, doing a David on the trampoline growing up, even though Hoffs was the fucking frog splash on me, but but yeah, no, I would personally say I think the RKO is one of the most popular moves.
It's definitely up there.
Yeah.
Hoff, who you got?
Okay. So number 14 here, I went with the Big Red Machine, Kane.
Nice.
Man's a monster. He could have maybe been a little higher on my list, but I left him here at 14. His debut, it's possible it's one of the more hype.
Right? And that, what was it, the Hell in the Cell?
Yeah, or more anticipated debuts when he ripped the door off the cage and
Yeah, that shit was hype.
yeah, and he went after the Undertaker. Unforgettable.
Oh yeah, truly. Yeah. No, I think Kane is good. I literally thought they were brothers, and I can't
like in real life.
Yeah, like I can't remember what age I was like, oh, they're not. But like, dude, it was a while. Like it was. I remember being very upset when I can't remember exactly when. I just remember I was upset. I just remember how much it impacted me personally, like internally. I was like, what the fuck? I thought they were actually brothers this whole time.
Were you more upset when you found that out, or when Quixie died?
So anyone listening in, Quixie's my old dog. And
that you gave away, and then those people murdered her.
So I didn't murder or give it away. Wow. I didn't. I'm trying to do something else here, but I didn't give away the dog. My dad gave it away because we could just not train it properly, and he gave it to his buddy.
You gave up on her.
Yeah, gave up on her
and said, "Just kill the thing."
No,
just take the thing and kill it.
Gave it to like one of his best friends, and Buddy just left it outside 24/7, and just eventually got hit by a car. So yeah,
that's what they told you.
Yeah,
but.
This podcast just took a deep, depressing turn.
Wait,
but
so Kane and the Undertaker aren't brothers?
Oh, you didn't know?
What do you mean, Braden? They're the brothers of destruction.
Oh, you didn't know?
They're brothers.
You don't know?
They were in the
Hop,
house.
you don't know?
They lived together.
So Kane didn't make my list. Yeah, and
fucking dare you?
So like, it was like he's one of those guys. Like he didn't make my top 20, but if Nick was like Kane's number 5 on my list, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. Like it's a weird like. There's so many good wrestlers.
Yeah,
Kane's one of those that like I have him in the honorable mentions. Like I know like Kane's great. His debut was probably the greatest debut in wrestling history. He just didn't make my list. But he's great, and like that's a character that shouldn't have worked as long as it did. But he did it. Glenn Jacobs, the mayor of Knoxville, Tennessee. Like he was just so great at it that he made this guy with a burned mask work for 20 years, then took the mask off and was still great. Like,
oh yeah, and I also thought he was like full on fucked up from a fire. I was like, oh, that's why he can't take off his mask. His face is all fucking burned. He must be so hideous that he doesn't want to take off the mask. That's got to be it.
So when he took off the mask in front of RVD and you saw all the black on his face, you thought he was charred up?
Oh, bro. I thought he was fucked up. Did you guys ever see the movie? He started in like a scary movie where he was just like a zombie almost kind of person, and he was like in a hotel or some shit, and he was like killing everyone.
See no evil.
Yeah. That movie was fucked. That movie fucking... I was scared shitless.
I remember it just being like real bloody and gross.
Well, just like Kane just walking down fucking hallways looking for fucking...
Yeah,
vulnerable people. Like
it was a character for Kane. I mean, it fit him.
Yeah, I was young when I saw it. I was like, oh, dude. I'm like 13.
Yeah, and they were, and it was, I guess, like a WWE like production. So they were pushing it hard on us as kids as well.
Do you remember when it came out?
I think it was. Was it May 19th or something like that?
Boom, May 19th.
Yeah, was it 2006?
The year doesn't matter, Braden. It went over your head what we were talking about. That was a whole storyline where, like, anytime someone said May 19th, because that was the day the movie was coming out, like, Kane would fuck him up. Oh. Like, he'd get mad, and he'd just start beating the shit out of him. Like, don't say that date!
What's crazy is I totally forgot about that.
Do you guys remember the way he died?
Huh?
Remember the way he died in the movie?
Oh. I was like, what? The man's the mayor right now. What are you talking about?
He got like thrown out of a fucking window or something. I think he fell on like a fucking pointy fence or some shit. Like something fucked up. It's cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds like more of a visual thing.
Yeah, definitely a visual thing.
All right, who you got at 13?
Oh, you guys ready for this? Because 14 I had Andre the Giant. 13.
I swear to God, do not even say it.
13, I got the biggest, most athletic, popular wrestler of all time, Big Show.
All right, guys, and that's where we end here.
Bro. Heads are down. They're disappointed. It's just fact, bro. I mean, if you think about it, if you really think about it, anyone that disagrees with either them or me, comment underneath. Let me know. Who do you think is the more popular wrestler of all time? Andre the Giant or Big Show?
It's Andre the Giant, and that's all I have to say. I don't even want to
Okay,
talk about your.
So
your
then, beyond
pick here.
popularity,
David's going over to.
who's the more athletic big wrestler?
I mean, the Big Show could move more, but that doesn't mean that he's the.
Who had the doper moves?
Dude, you had him ahead of like Eddie Guerrero and like you had to have just done
Hold
this
on.
to fuck with us. Like, what are you doing putting the Big Show
No,
that
this is something
high
I
on
be-
your list? This is crazy.
No, yeah, that's
It's Sting and who else? Who was like 18 on your list?
no, Sting. Sting was 18.
All right, who's 17?
That was Brett.
Yeah, Bret Hart. Dude, you Big Show to Bret Hart. You're out of your fucking mind, dude. Like Andre the Giant aside, dude. Like you've some Bret Hart, Eddie Guerrero. Like you have great wrestlers that you put after the Big Show. Like you're out of your fucking mind. Forget
Hold on,
about
let me-
Andre the
let
Giant.
me say-
Having the Big Show where you have him is crazy.
I think this is a good point too. One of the best moments in wrestling history was when Brock Lesnar F5'd the Big Show and it broke the stage.
I think that was great. That's great. Is Brock Lesnar on your list?
God damn it.
Yeah. Like what?
Oh man.
And by the way, Braden,
No, I did
get your
fuck that
Big
one
Show
out.
facts right. It was not an F5. It was a suplex off the top rope.
Oh yeah, you're right. But he did
You
F5 him too.
disgust me with this and that pick.
I mean, yeah, he did have Brock Lesnar F5 to everybody. It's Brock Lesnar's
Dude, you
move.
know what?
That'd be like, well, Stone Cold did give him the stunner, though. Like, yeah, of course he did. He's Stone Cold.
All right. In your defense, you're 100% right.
Yeah.
I should have picked Brock Lesnar over the Big Show for this.
Dude,
1,000%.
You should have had, dude. So had you just not had Andre the Giant on the list, and you had Big Show at like 20, I'd be like, yeah, whatever, that's fine.
So
The fact that you had Bret Hart at 17,
okay, I got to be
you got the
completely
Big
honest.
Show 4 spots ahead of him.
If I don't express this, I'm gonna feel a little upset. I totally did the Andre the Giant, the Big Show to fuck with y'all.
Of course you did.
If I had to change,
But now you look like a buffoon, man.
no, yeah. So makes everything so much more interesting. Am I right?
You should have done Andre 20 and Big Show 19.
No,
like
well,
you
this is-
really fucked up.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't have done either of them. Really, this is what I would have done. I would have done.
No, we're not. You didn't give us your full top 20. Be like, all right, this was all a joke. We're an hour into the podcast. It's over. Here's
Just-
what my real top 20 is.
No, just those two. Just those two. Those are the only two. This is the only two I'm going to do this to. If I was to change those two, because I didn't, I kind of did it to fuck with y'all.
But here's the thing. You realize you don't get to change those two, right?
Yeah. But I still need to say it. Otherwise, I'm not going to feel good about it. I would change Andre the Giant for Goldberg and Big Show for Brock Lesnar. That would be it. Now I feel better.
Number 13 for me,
Yeah?
the excellence of execution. The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. Bret the Hitman Hart.
Ooh.
Again, he's another guy. He could have gone in there with absolutely anyone and put on a great match. Did an Iron Man match with Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania. That was incredible. WrestleMania 13, him versus Stone Cold in a submission match, made Stone Cold the fucking superstar that he was. And also maybe the best WrestleMania match of all time. It's up there. It's up there with fucking Macho Man Ricky Steamboat. It's up there with the WrestleMania 20 Triple Threat.
Yeah.
It's up there with Undertaker. It's not up there with Undertaker and Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
That's a lie. Those are the two greatest matches in wrestling history. But like Bret Hart, he was for WWF. That was their first guy that they're like, oh, he is so fucking good in the ring. We have to push him. That's when they got away from like, oh, Stone Cold and Macho Man and Ultimate Warrior. These are all huge, jacked guys. We need to push them. Like Bret Hart was like 5'10". And yeah, he was ripped. Like you don't look at him, you're like, oh, look how fucking small and skinny he is.
Yeah.
But that was their first guy where they're like, oh, he is way too good in the ring for us to hold him back. We need to push him as far as we can. And then, like, the Montreal Screwjob, whether he was in on it or not, like, that's the craziest and one of the biggest things that ever happened in wrestling. And it doesn't happen without Bret Hart, obviously.
Break that down.
Montreal Screwjob?
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what it is, do you?
No, break it down.
You fucking asshole, man. Dude, like, you gotta,
You've never seen that?
So there's so many, like, you're sitting down and watching a documentary on this later.
Okay.
We're doing it. Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart at Survivor Series in Montreal. Bret Hart was leaving the company. He was signing with WCW. Like, it was known backstage. It was in Montreal, which is where Bret Hart is from. And he's like, I'm not dropping the belt to Shawn. Shawn's a piece of shit. He's a bad person. Shawn's a fucking asshole. He's like, I'm not dropping it to him in Montreal. Let me win. I'll drop it the next night in Toronto on Raw. You can have me lose it to Shawn. That's fine. I'm not losing to him in Montreal. And Vince McMahon was like, we want Shawn to win. You're leaving the company. You got to drop the belt. He's like, I'll come back tomorrow night and I'll drop the belt on Raw. Vince McMahon didn't believe him. He didn't want Bret Hart to show up at WCW with the world title. So Bret Hart's big move was the sharpshooter. It's what he made famous. It's how he won all his matches. Shawn Michaels locks him in the sharpshooter, like locks Bret Hart in it. And Vince McMahon is down at the ring and just calls for the bell. He's like, ring the bell. He's tapped. Ring the bell. Ring the bell. And Earl Hebner had him ring the bell, called it. Shawn Michaels wins by submission. The crowd went nuts. Bret Hart spat on Vince McMahon and then wrote, like, in the air, wrote WCW, like, with the camera on him. Backstage, he punched Vince McMahon in the face, like, and then, like, he left it. He wasn't in wrestling for, like, it took 15 years until he came back to WWE and, like, made appearances. It's the craziest. It's blowing my mind that you did not know this. It is the biggest wrestling story, like, in history.
Pretty cool.
You guys know this guy had the Big Show as number 13 on his fucking list, right?
Well, it should have been Brock.
I mean, my number 13.
It shouldn't have been Brock, though. That's the thing.
Oh, you don't think it should have been?
My number 13, I mean, we just talked about
Well,
it.
I would have changed the numbers a little bit, but yeah.
Number 13 for me was also Bret Hart. I mean...
Mega powers, baby. Mega powers.
I remember a lot that David would always talk about Bret Hart in middle school to me. I wasn't big on Bret Hart back then, but I remember David would always talk about him. I would think that was his favorite wrestler back then for sure. So, I mean, that's what really stuck with me. I mean, that made me go and look into Bret Hart and everything. And obviously, it's disgusting that Braden doesn't know what the Montreal Screwjob is. That's big time. He knocked out Vince McMahon in the locker room.
He knocked him out or just punched him?
He knocked him out.
Like,
Holy
one
shit.
punch, dropped his shit.
So, like, The Undertaker was, like, the leader of the locker room from, like, the day he got there. It's crazy.
Right. Uh-huh.
And he went to Vince and he's like, hey, you need to go talk to Bret. And Vince McMahon's like, come on, man. He's like, you're going and talking to Bret and talking this out with him right now. And it's like, all right, he went in there. Bret Hart's, like, getting undressed. He's going to hop in the shower. Vince McMahon's there, and he's like, I'm hopping in the shower. You better not fucking be here when I get out. And Vince McMahon just waited. I'm not fucking leaving. And Bret Hart came out. He was there and fucking knocks him out.
Oh, my God. Wow. Damn, that's cool. I'm going to look that up later. All right. So, number 12, I got Kane. Right? It's a straight spot.
Respectable spot.
Respectable spot.
Yeah. No, like I said, like he's not on my top 20, but there's nowhere outside of the top 5 that doesn't make sense for Kane. Like, 12 works.
Yeah, it's subjective. I feel that.
Yeah, I just love me the Big Red Machine. Can't get enough of him.
Yeah, like I said, that man he made such an impact because I actually believed everything about that man. So, like, growing up, I was like, oh, dude, this dude's got the craziest story. Like, I'm going to be fucking, I don't know what to think about this guy. And then once when I found out it wasn't true, it probably made the biggest impact character-wise of
What
my
do you
life.
mean it's not true, Braden?
Oh, you didn't know? You don't know?
No.
Yeah, him and Undertaker, they're not brothers, bro. I was like, what?
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 But Paul Bearer is really both of their dads, right?
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's bro, that guy would look so fucking weird.
All right, number 12 for me.
Yeah.
This guy won a gold medal with a broken freaking neck.
Ah.
I got Kurt Angle coming in at number 12.
Nice.
I loved him on the microphone. I thought he was hilarious. Him with Stone Cold after WrestleMania 17 when Stone Cold was a bad guy, like their shit backstage was hilarious. Kurt Angle's one of my favorite of all time. And he, again, like this is someone he can put on a good match with anybody. He put on, before Brock Lesnar was really like at a point career-wise where he could have a good match. You know, like Brock Lesnar was always big and strong and entertaining. Like Kurt Angle was carrying Brock Lesnar to good matches when Brock Lesnar didn't really have business putting on good matches.
Did you hear the thing?
Him and Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 21. Again, this is the third time I've said it on this list. Maybe the greatest WrestleMania match of all time. So good. It's two of the best in-ring wrestlers of all time. Wrestling for 30 minutes. It's amazing if you haven't watched it yet. Yeah, Kurt Angle. I think had he had a longer WWE career, had he not let, and he had drug abuse issues, he had shit like that, and Vince McMahon wanted him to come back and then turned on the TV one night and he was on TNA wrestling Samoa Joe. And like he had solid stuff at TNA and like nothing spectacular. But I just think had he had a longer WWE career and stuck around another 4 or 5 years, I think he'd be much higher on the list for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I always thought he was fucking awesome. I just wasn't as, I guess, into the verbiage as you were. But Hoff, what do you think about it?
About Kurt Angle?
And that spot on the list too.
No, I mean, yeah. Kurt Angle's on my list too, so I mean I love Kurt Angle. Maybe it's I liked his, I know you didn't like his behind the scenes acting stuff, but I loved it. I loved it when he put on that little cowboy hat and he did all those skits.
Yeah, he did a lot of goofy shit.
Yeah, I love that.
Someone told the story of apparently he wrestled Brock Lesnar. Is that true?
Yeah, so it wasn't a skit. Why are you?
No, I'm saying
I was talking about funny Kurt Angle.
Because
you're gonna hop in and be like, "Let's talk about something different. Let's just drop it and talk about something else." Can we not talk about this, guys?
Support I really don't like. So let's change it.
So apparently Kurt Angle did an interview, and other wrestlers have confirmed it. He and Brock Lesnar had like an amateur catch wrestling match in the back, and Kurt Angle beat him. But like, of course, you're like, why? That should surprise nobody. Brock Lesnar's big and strong and was a national champion in college, but Kurt Angle won a gold medal with a broken freaking neck. Like,
yeah.
I've never done any amateur wrestling or anything. I imagine the difference between college national champion and Olympic gold medalist is humongous.
Yeah.
So, like, of course Kurt Angle would have won that.
Yeah. State compared to national or global. Fuck. Yeah.
Hoff,
Nice.
who you got at 12?
All right, so my number 12 is Sting. I have Sting. He's been fighting forever. I think both of you guys already had him on your list.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I got him at number 12. He's been wrestling forever. He was the guy back in the day, so
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, he's one of the top of
Yeah.
all time for WCW. And
Sorry, and not to cut you off, but like, and when we talked about earlier, like people, like old wrestlers, like wrestling in high school gyms and all that stuff, that's not what Sting's doing.
not Sting,
Sting's
yeah.
wrestled in 5 separate decades, but like, he's on like AEW is the second biggest wrestling promotion in the U.S. and it's big. It's like WCW right now, and that's where he is. Like he's always been in like one of the bigger promotions his whole career. He started in like the early 80s and he's still wrestling today.
Yeah, it seems like he's been able to really soak up his character to where he doesn't do anything that diminishes it over time. Like if anything, it just adds value to even if he ever took a break or anything like that when he ever comes back or goes to somewhere else. To like maybe some other people it might diminish him, and if they do too much too often or like for too long, maybe I don't know. But for him, it just seemed like it always added to the way people enjoyed him.
Yeah, I mean, he when he joined the WWE, and then I get he broke his neck or something happened with his neck, where he got hurt and he couldn't really walk or anything, so he retired from the WWE and he left the WWE. I think he was fighting for the big title in WWE when he got hurt. So I mean, if he didn't get hurt there, he's wrestling in AEW right now. He could probably be still wrestling in WWE right now if he didn't get hurt.
And like I think he would have gone to AEW regardless, because they're on they're on TNT, and that's where WCW was. That's where he was on TV all the time. Like, it was a big deal. Like, oh, he's back on TNT. But like what he's doing in AEW, like it's awesome. He's not one of those guys like I had like Triple H who like wrestled for a long time, but still like was winning matches against people that he shouldn't have been beating. Like, you need to put over young stars, and that's like Sting is there primarily. There's this young guy, Darby Allin, who Braden was like shitting on AEW one day and talking about a match. He's like, and this one guy, he's fucking skinny. He's got his face painted like that. I was like, you're talking about Darby Allin. I was like, he is one of the best young wrestlers in the world right now. Like, I am stoked about Darby Allin, and that Sting's like going around with him and putting over Darby Allin. That's what wrestling should be, and that's good. I'm like, that's why WWE sucks right now, because there's no like big stars like
up and coming. Yeah,
it's because like before, like in the '80s, it was Hulk Hogan. Now it's Stone Cold, The Rock, John Cena. Like, there's no like huge face. There's no star. You need to have a star bigger than the promotion is.
Yeah,
and they don't have that. It's WWE is the star. And that's why, like, they just keep having massive cuts. They just keep cutting wrestlers. They're saying it's budget cuts, but they're making more money than they ever had. They're a fucking disgusting company. But, like, I genuinely think AEW will be the top wrestling promotion in the next, like, 10 years. Because they're building young stars, and I think if they can keep all these guys in-house, they're just going to blow up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in part, thanks to Hoff's number 12 greatest of all time, Sting.
Yeah. I'm sure they're probably like signing better contracts to convert, more people to AEW rather than WWE. Would be my assumption.
What do you mean, like money?
Yeah, like
so it's money, but also like I'm sure CM Punk is getting a fuck ton of money.
Probably better things in the contract too.
So what AEW does, they don't have writers.
Oh, so they get to come up with all their stuff, you're saying?
Yeah, which in the 90s, no one was writing like, oh, Stone Cold, and now you're going to do like...
Yeah, they were doing
like
all their
Stone
own
Cold
shit.
went out on a stage and said, fucking get that piece of trash out of my ring. He's thumping his Bible, talking about John 3:16. Well, Austin 3:16 said, I just whooped your ass. Like, everyone was like, oh, it's the fucking craziest thing anyone's ever said. No one wrote that for Stone Cold.
Yeah, it's
Stone
more
Cold's
genuine
like, I got this.
to him
Yeah.
and to his character. It makes sense.
That's what makes, because like guys are reading scripted promos, and
They can't resonate with that shit.
Roman Reigns literally said "suffer and succotash" as like an insult once, and everyone was like, "Oh, this guy sucks." Like,
oh man, yeah, you can't have ghostwriters in fucking WWE.
That's what's gonna make AEW. I think. So like with kids,
giving them more of the freedom. That's probably like within the contract too. So
yeah. And that's why they got CM Punk to come out of retirement after 7 years. That's why Chris Jericho's there.
Yeah,
Like they're great.
Yeah, it makes sense. All right, we going on to number 11. All right, big number 11. I got Randy Orton. Right, respectable spot.
Respectable spot. He was 14 on mine, but I can't speak highly enough about Randy Orton. He's great.
I feel like he shouldn't be in the top 10, and I felt like, I felt like I kind of graced him a little bit with number 11. I felt like he could have been a little bit higher, but still straight spot.
No, I think 11 makes sense for Randy Orton. Had you had him in the top 10, I wouldn't have been like, it's fucking terrible. No, like Randy Orton's great. If you had him in the top 5, I'd be like, you're reaching. But
No, yeah.
no, I think 11's a good spot for him.
I'm a little upset with myself here.
Happens to the best of us, Hoff. Don't worry.
Because I left Randy Orton off of my list, and
Oh, he's probably like one of your favorites growing up too.
no, I mean, he wasn't one of my favorites. I just forgot how much we watched him and enjoyed,
Yeah, how much of an impact.
and us RKOing each other.
Bro, we
Like,
RKO'd each other fucking countless times
so
growing up.
He's not on my list, but he'll be in the honorables for sure.
Yeah.
But if I could redo it, he for sure would be in there. Like Randy Orton.
It gets hard.
Yeah.
You know, around these numbers, it gets...
It gets real hard. Like
Which is in part why we made this 20 instead of 10. Because 10 I felt like was so... I feel like it was going to be hard and similar.
10. So for those of you guys listening, my top 10, I had Sasha Banks at number 10 when we did top 10. Because I was like, I was the same reason I put her at 20. I was like, I can't disrespect what women's wrestling has done and not have anybody.
Yeah.
But like, that's just like, I love Sasha Banks to death.
Nice.
But it would be disgusting to have her at number 10 greatest of all time. Like, it's just, it's silly. But I was like, I'm doing it. I was like, fuck it, I'm doing it.
I'm
But
willing to die on this hill.
I felt so much when Braden's like, we should do a top 20, and so I was like, yep. Yeah, we should.
Yeah. You know, there's so many good wrestlers. It gets hard sometimes, you know. That's how I felt about Booker T. You feel me? So what do you guys got?
Number 11 for me, Daniel Bryan. Fucking, like, the yes movement. Braden, I don't know if Braden knows what I'm referring to.
No, I don't.
Have you ever seen a crowd of people chant yes and point their hands in the air and go, yes, yes, yes?
I feel like I've seen that beyond even this wrestler.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it's because of him. He would come down to the ring, like, jumping and going yes. It was crazy. CM Punk quit wrestling because it sucked. Because Daniel Bryan was the biggest. Like, they were trying to have like Randy Orton and John Cena wrestling for the belt and stuff.
CM Punk's like, this dude sucks.
There was a big no, not because of him.
Oh.
Because wrestling sucked.
Oh, I thought you didn't like
Daniel
the dude.
Daniel Bryan. No, Daniel Bryan is, first of all, in the ring, not my greatest of all time. But if someone was to be like, I think, like, as far as, like, bell to bell in the ring, I think Daniel Bryan's the greatest wrestler of all time, I'd be like, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I personally don't feel that way. You'll hear who I think it is later. But the yes movement, so, like, WWE was legitimately, their plan was to have him wrestle Sheamus at WrestleMania 30, just in a whatever match. And the main event was going to be Randy Orton versus Batista. Batista coming out of retirement, winning the Royal Rumble. The crowd was like, no, fuck that. Like crowds were just taking over shows, just chanting yes, 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 chanting Daniel Bryan. Like, unlike anything I've ever seen in wrestling before in my life, to the point where like they're like, fuck, we're putting him in the main event.
Yeah.
Like we don't have a choice. We're just gonna do it. He wrestled Triple H in like the first match of the night, WrestleMania 30. That was the best match on the card. Because Triple H is fucking very good.
Yeah.
And then he went in the main event, won the triple threat, and like it's New Orleans Superdome, 70,000 people, all just chanting yes, 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 yeah. Like, it is the most fucking wild thing in the world, and it wouldn't be that great if he wasn't maybe the best wrestler in the ring. Had concussions and neck issues, had to retire, came back. Kept putting on classic matches. He's going to AEW too, by the way. AEW is about to be the best wrestling promotion. I've never been more excited to stop watching WWE and watch something else.
Oh, dope.
Because it's going to be great. Daniel Bryan, like, him and Kane were a tag team. They were Team Hell No, and it was hilarious. It was great. Like, Daniel Bryan, if he had a longer career, might have been number one for me. I realize, like, with everyone else I'm going to have on this, I couldn't put Daniel Bryan higher than I have him. So great. I can't say enough about him.
I don't know too much about him, but I have seen that WrestleMania, those two matches, the one where he win against Triple H. I guess he had to win to beat Triple H earlier in the night to go into the main event, and he won. He ended up winning both of them. And I've watched those matches. Those matches are really, really good. And I could only imagine just him just losing to Triple H and then him not being in the main event. What, like, that show would have been, like, the main event the crowd probably would have killed that match.
So also in the same night the Undertaker streak ends. He loses to Brock Lesnar. Like, the crowd would have just fucking turned on him. It would have been... Part of me wishes that would have happened. Watching, I'd be like,
Just to see the crowd.
Yeah, like the crowd would have. Like if it was the first match of the night.
Yeah.
If he just gets pedigreed and then loses, like the crowd would have been like, "Oh fuck you, no." Like that's not allowed to happen.
Oh my god. So you got Hoff.
Okay, so my number 11 is a guy who represented our country. Went to the Olympics, had a broken freaking neck.
Brock Lesnar?
That's very disrespectful.
I'm just fucking with you. Obviously, it's
Kurt Angle. Freaking love the guy. Love his I even liked him when he got hurt and he was the GM for SmackDown back in the day.
Oh,
that
what
was
he hurt
great.
his leg or something? Right? He hurt his ankle or some shit, right?
He was like in a wheelchair.
Yeah,
But
and he
was
had, like, a
bald.
cast
He looked
on.
like Professor Xavier. It was great.
Yeah, like that stuff. I even like that stuff. I don't know. Braden's not too into Kurt Angle outside of the ring, so I don't know if he liked that. But
I don't want to hate on him too much. I mean, definitely, there was definitely a lot of times where I laughed at his, goofiness and some of the things he did. 100%.
And at the end of the day, he made your top 20. Like that's
Yeah,
like,
trust me. Yeah. I'm not. I don't mean to make it seem like, oh, I fucking hated him or anything or when he acted. I still enjoyed it. I just felt, I don't know. I don't want to hate on it. That's what I'm saying. I still enjoyed it. I don't really know how. I feel like anything else I'm going to say, I'm going to fuck up myself. Like I'm going to fuck me over, like the way what I actually feel. So like I don't want to elaborate anymore and hurt myself.
All right, well, we're into the top 10, so let's
fucking top 10. Here we go. My top 10. My 10th pick is Ric Flair. Nature Boy, baby. Woo! David, how that slap to your chest feel?
Yours felt like fucking nothing.
Really?
I could have taken 40 from you.
Come on.
I could not have taken a third one from Hoff.
Come on, man.
I'd also like to change the name of my chop to the Andre the Giant chop instead of the Big Show.
No,
chop.
it was the Big Show chop.
Andre,
there was a reason why you chose the Big Show too.
The Andre the Giant Memorial Chop.
David, that's why you went straight to Big Show chop. You're like, oh no, we're gonna let Hoff do the Big Show chop.
I think you're crazy.
That's what came to mind.
I think you're crazy.
That was
no.
I'm
I'm talking about Ric Flair.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have him so much higher on my list.
He's way higher than 10.
There's like almost nobody you're gonna say in the rest of your top 10 is gonna make me happy because you have Ric Flair at 10.
Is he number 1 for you? No.
You'll see.
Yeah,
you'll see.
No, I mean, all right. So I think I loved Ric Flair's.
I mean, monkey's out of the bottle, man.
Yeah. So I put him 10th because obviously he has one of the best careers of all time. He is one of the most known wrestlers of all time. I love his character and his personality. I mean, it's like so ridiculous, and he plays it perfectly for like what it is. It's exactly like what he even I've heard him talk about before, like on a podcast of like he had like always like a fear, like he's not gonna be able to physically be able to keep up with these people. And I felt like he still was a great wrestler. I just felt like he I don't know, wasn't to the caliber that some of these other wrestlers were. And that's not saying for his early career. I mean more of like his later career. Obviously he has had like a super long career. But that's why I'm saying he made the 10th spot. I always felt like he had a better character and personality than athletic performance.
I mean, if you're looking at like Ric Flair in the WWE in the 2000s, sure. Ric Flair had a string of matches with Ricky Steamboat in the 80s that are probably the 3 greatest matches of all time.
Yeah, like jumping off the ropes.
Ric Flair, one of the greatest in-ring wrestlers of all time. He is so fucking good. Yeah, like you need to watch older Ric Flair. And that's why, because like if we're talking like if we did 20 greatest WWE wrestlers of all time, sure, Ric Flair might not be top 20.
I'm still not talking specifically about WWE. That was just like part of it. It's like the big majority of like his career was in the WWE, and
no.
NWA, WCW.
Yeah, but I'm still saying like a big part of his career was still in WWE.
It's a big majority.
A big part. So, like, I mean,
there was a decent part of his WWE.
He's a 16-time world champion, WWE.
No.
He might be a fucking one-time world champion in WWE.
I don't even think he won the championship in WWE.
Yeah, he did.
It says it right here. WWE, 16-time world champion, 8-time NWA world heavyweight champion, 6-time WCW world heavyweight champion, and 2-time WWF champion.
Just think about what you just said. You said 8-time NWA, 6-time WCW, 2-time WWF. Add all those numbers together.
But it says before that, it says recognized.
Add all the. He did not win 16 titles in the WWF. We're not wasting more podcast time on this because you're just wrong. Add up the numbers, and they're going to equal 16.
Okay. He also says that he's a 21-time champion as well.
Yeah, because he won in smaller promotions, but they only recognize those 3 on his thing.
Okay.
Yeah. He won the least amount of titles in WWE though.
He won more tag titles in WWE than
he might have.
him and
Batista won a couple.
In Evolution, him and Batista were tag champs for multiple times.
All right.
Yeah, so that's my 10.
Giving you my number 10, Ultimate Warrior. I think had I grown up back then, he might be higher. If I was a child, like when Ultimate Warrior was doing his thing. I grew up after that, but I still appreciate, and he was great. He beat... This was The Rock beat Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 18. He beat Hulk Hogan in the main event of WrestleMania 6 when Hulk Hogan was in his prime. Like, no one's beating Hulk Hogan. WWF was like, no, we're going to have Ultimate Warrior beat him in the main event of WrestleMania. Like a lot of people don't get, like, Ultimate Warrior was such a big fucking star. It was crazy. Because, like, back then it was crazy to think that anyone was going to beat Hogan at WrestleMania. That just wasn't a thing that happened. Hogan beat the fuck out of Macho Man the year before. Like, just didn't happen. They're like, oh, we're going to get quickly. We're going to get squashed by the Ultimate Warrior. Larger-than-life character. Got inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Gave an awesome speech that sounded like he was given his obituary. And then died the next day.
Yeah, that's insane.
Like, his life is just out of control, crazy. Tons of steroids, tons of drugs. Like, it's fucking crazy. But such a big draw. His matches were never awesome. Or they were awesome. His matches were never, like, good matches like an Eddie Guerrero would put on or Kurt Angle. But they were always fun, like, draw, big spot matches. He hits the big splash and pins him. I couldn't not have him in my top 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I had him at 20. I mean, I didn't watch him as much, but I mean, I seen him. I mean, the energy that he brought in his matches. He sprinted. He ran his 40 time every time to the ring. I remember seeing it might have been at WrestleMania when he was going to fight Hulk Hogan. I saw a documentary on him about them wanting to cart him down to the ring, and he was like, absolutely not. And he sprinted the whole way, and it was long. It was
back like when they had like the mini like little square ring that they would bring the people down on. Yeah, and he was like, I'm not fucking doing that. I was like, no goddamn way I'm doing it. He's like, that's ridiculous. I'm not doing that.
He sprinted the whole way. And they were like, you're going to be gassed. And that man, he sprinted the whole way and fought that match. And
Did you guys see that video where he was training that fucking band? I forget what the band's name is called. He's like, you're going to put the bar on your back and you're going to squat fucking down. 20 fucking reps. Let's go. And one of the kids is like, I can't do it. He goes, I can't do it? What the fuck? Fuck. Fuck. He's just like yelling, bro. It was fucking great.
And this was like old man Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah.
This, is like, this wasn't him back in his prime. This was like,
the fuck you mean I can't?
Yeah, like,
fuck, bro. I did. God bless that man. All right,
my number 10 is Rowdy Roddy Piper. I mean, that man
blowing the bagpipes. That was tough shit.
Yeah. I mean, him on the mic as well was absurd. Just the things that he would say to these guys, and him also in the ring was really, really good. I mean, I enjoy watching his matches. Like I could go back and watch his matches now and be like, damn, it's a good match. That's a good promo.
Yeah.
Like
that was, yeah. So like, he's honorable mention for me. I don't have him in the top 20, but one of the greatest on the mic. Probably, other than Mr. McMahon, probably the best heel character in wrestling history. Like, he was just so fucking great. Yeah, I don't have an issue with him being in the top 10.
Yeah, I feel like he was when I was starting to like really watch wrestling, and I never got to like see enough of him, so he's not in my top 20. But I felt like either he did a great job from like the little bit that I saw, that he always had like a great energy and presence, but I didn't know whether it was like him being like I never saw his career, so I didn't know if it was him creating that or the promotion helping boost him up. But he always seemed like he was fucking top of the line promotion. Like in any promotion that he was in, he seemed like he was, one of the main stars.
I think he was the Maniac on Always Sunny. Like how fucking great was the Maniac?
So, anything else? Anything else about Roddy?
The Maniac loves you.
All right, so let's get to number 9. Number 9 for me is Macho Man Randy Savage. I love his fucking voice. And I don't know, I love his fucking energy. I didn't get to see a shit ton of him. I remember seeing him very prevalent, like in my head from like an early age. Like his energy was so strong that it just like made you remember him. Yeah, I just love his energy, bro. So I put him at number 9. What you guys think about that?
Yeah, I mean, he was lower on mine, but I don't have an issue with that. I think Macho Man being a top 10 all time makes perfect sense. Yeah.
And he was fucking.
There's going to be people in my top 10 that for sure Macho Man could be ahead of.
And like, how about when he beat Strong Woman in like the Women Olympics? Like, come on,
that's fucking great. And he was the UFC Women's Champion.
Yeah. Oh man, and when he got pushed through the table and he fucking like he like dove through the table. Dude, that was great.
For clear it up for those of you who don't, South Park did an episode where this guy didn't call him Macho Man Randy Savage, but it was obviously Macho Man Randy Savage was saying that they were a transgender woman. And,
you think you're such a strong woman?
Yeah, and he was like winning the UFC Women's Championship and competing in the Strong Woman Olympic Games and just dominating.
And they'd be like, I'm the real strong woman.
And like wasn't trying to look like a woman. Like it was clear, like it looked like Macho Man Randy Savage.
At one point, he went to the school and wore a Speedo where his dick and balls were super noticeable through it. Like it was ridiculous. Yeah, so that's my number 9.
Number 9 for me. think you'll both probably have him higher than I do, but Triple H. I mean,
Yeah.
DX, who didn't like, so like WWE over talks, how like they talk about DX like it was as big as NWO, and it just wasn't. That's just silly. But who didn't love DX?
Yeah.
Who didn't love Evolution? And without Triple H, NXT would not exist. And without NXT, WWE programming over the last 10 years would have just been fucking garbage.
Yeah.
Like NXT was like throwing it on TV and like that was, if you wanted to watch like actual good wrestling on WWE, that's where you would watch it.
If it wasn't for him, it would have been so much harder for every wrestler that we love to be as good as they were.
Oh, for sure.
You know?
For sure.
Like he a lot of times was that bad guy that like even if there was another bad guy, like somehow I felt like would somehow end up being like the bad guy, you know?
Oh, for sure. And that's kind of like, and like he brought in Randy Orton. Randy Orton was an Evolution.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he
brought him up, and like he kind of falls into the same category as Randy Orton for me, as far as like he was great, but there was always people in the company who were bigger names, bigger draws, all of that shit than him. So it's tough to put him like top 5 when, you know, like the top 5 should be a who's who of guys who are like the biggest stars in the world. So that's why like Triple H was great. He did a lot, like he won matches he shouldn't have won. Like CM Punk when he cut the pipe bomb and then went on and beat John Cena in Chicago and the crowd was going crazy, and then he left, quote unquote, left the company with the WWE Championship, and then comes back and just loses to Triple H right away. It's the most absurd thing that's ever happened, and it made zero sense. And Triple H was like, no, it's good, it's going to get more heat. And all that. Triple H came out of retirement, beat him, and then retired again. It was fucking absurd. Like that. So like part of me hates Triple H for shit like that. But like you can't.
He's got to retire on top, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, then he came back again. Like he was just like, that's just his thing. But like he deserves a spot in the top 10, absolutely, and that's why I have him at 9.
Yeah, he was always, you know, top, always like in one of the main matches of every pay-per-view for fucking like 15 years. You know,
back in the day he was big time, and then towards the end of his career, he was, like David was saying, he was just winning pointless matches. Like, he's on the back end of his career. He's retiring, coming out of retirement, winning a Royal Rumble for no reason. And, I mean...
It's Triple H.
Beating Sting in Sting's first WrestleMania match and having, like, NWO, which didn't make sense. Sting and the NWO fucking hated each other the whole time. Like, that was never a thing at WCW where they were allies. Having the NWO come out and help Sting and having DX come out and help Triple H. Literally just WWE being like, yeah, no, we're beating WCW again because we're going to have Triple H and DX beat Sting and the NWO here. Like, shit like that. That's just ridiculous. Like, Sting should have won his only WrestleMania match. And instead, they were like, nah, Triple H got to beat him. Sting, first of all, Sting should have fought the fucking Undertaker at WrestleMania. Like, that should have been the thing. And you can have Sting lose to the Undertaker.
Yeah, if he's going to lose, then have him lose to the Undertaker.
But the fact that we never got Sting versus the Undertaker, because Triple H wanted to beat Sting at fucking WrestleMania.
Yeah, do you think Triple H is like
disgusting.
He was in the background like, no, this is what's going to be it.
He's like the chief operations officer of the company.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like, yeah, he's fucking like... So, like, it's Vince McMahon's call at the end of the day. But
that's
there's no way Triple H was like, I think it should be Sting and the Undertaker. It's like, no, it's going to be you and Sting. But like, well, I think Sting should win. Like, there's no way that's how that went.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's probably telling Vince, like, hey, this is what we should do. And Vince's like, all right.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, what do you got, Hoff?
Hoff, who you got at 9?
My number 9, I mean, it might be hard for you guys to really see the guy, because, I mean, can't really see him.
Huh, who's that?
I have John Cena at number 9. I mean, I don't know too much about his later career, but, I mean, when he first came in and he was the Doctor of Thugonomics, that's when I really loved him.
Oh, yeah.
I loved his match at WrestleMania 20 against the Big Show, the promo that he cut before that match in the ring. Him winning the United States Championship belt, and then turning it into a spinner belt.
Yeah, I used to have his arm sleeves.
Yeah.
You know, when the arms get sweaty, you know?
His also, even his rivalry with Carlito back in the day, I loved that. His Carlito's bodyguard stabbed him, supposedly in the club. He was getting a divorce back in the day. Then
Is that like a true story, or is that like WWE made?
Yeah, WWE made it. It wasn't really like Carlito beat John Cena, and then like the next week they're like John Cena was stabbed in a Boston nightclub.
He's not going to be here this week. That's wild.
But yeah, I mean, 16-time world champ can't. I mean, he's up there. I guarantee WWE is going to end up just letting him win one more time.
Yeah, they're for sure going to
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like so I have John Cena higher on my list. He's been the face of WWE for longer than anyone else ever was. I think definitely should be in the top 10.
Yeah. All right. So number 8. You guys, I don't think you're gonna like this one. Maybe we'll see. I got Mick Foley. So, like, a big reason why I put Mick Foley at number 8 is because I felt like what we were kind of talking about earlier. I feel like he paved the way for, you know, what I wished would last. It's not as prevalent now in today's wrestling, but like his style, the tactics, the fucked upness, like,
I mean, just people getting fucked up.
Yeah, basically, like pushing
Braden likes. That's why like every UFC fight ends early in his eyes. Like he wants CTE, he wants brain damage. He looked at Muhammad Ali late in his career, and he's like, "That's what I want for everybody. I want him to just be shaky and not be able to talk."
Dude, we were watching earlier him with fucking barbed wire on a stick against Triple H, bro.
Yeah,
like,
dude, so, like I resent you because like I love Mick Foley. I don't want to bash Mick Foley by any means, but like number 8 is crazy.
I just personally think that he changed aspects of wrestling to such a degree for such a period of time that it made like things that we enjoy so much better because of what he did. Like there wouldn't have been as good of matches between even the other people that we're talking about. I feel like if it wasn't for some of the things that he brought to the sport.
You haven't had a Ric Flair, dude. Like what the fuck?
Yeah.
I hate you right now. Like I love Mick Foley. I don't want to talk bad about Mick Foley, but you have him ahead of Ric Flair. You're out of your fucking mind, dude. And I love Mick Foley.
To me,
do you understand? No. Stop talking. Do you understand what you're doing to me right now?
Yeah.
Because like I want to love that you have Mick Foley that high. I want to be like, oh, good, great. Mick Foley's great. He was awesome. I've always been entertained by Mick Foley. But you have him ahead of Ric fucking Flair, dude. Like,
yeah, and to me, it's like, you know, I think Ric Flair is a fucking amazing character. But like, what did he? I don't know. Like to me, there's other characters that were just as showy and I don't know, like out there as Ric Flair, even though I don't want to compare like that, but like
Stone Cold and The Undertaker, both unanimous, like it was brought up and they both unanimously were like, oh, the greatest of all time. They were asked like Ric Flair, like without hesitating. They're like Ric Flair, hands down Ric Flair. Both of them like without a doubt. They're like, yeah, Ric Flair.
Was this like on their podcast? They were talking
yeah,
it.
It was on Stone Cold's podcast. Who the fuck are you, Braden? You got him at 10. You got Mick Foley ahead of him. Like,
I just think Braden looks at Ric Flair and he sees old Ric Flair. He sees WWE Ric Flair. He sees the old Ric Flair.
No, bro. Ric Flair got bloodied and did a lot of crazy shit too. I'm not trying to take away from him. I mean, he was number 10, bro. Like,
I put Mick Foley. Who was number 9?
It was Macho Man Randy Savage. And like I put Macho Man there because I think he has one of the best characters and most like
I disagree,
voices.
But like I don't hate Macho Man ahead of him.
You hate me.
I hate Mick Foley ahead of him, dude. I fucking love Mick Foley. I said earlier, like I wish I could put Mick Foley number 1, but that's just silly. I think putting him at number 8 is fucking silly. I debated having him in the top 20. I was like, I have to put McFoley in my top 20. I was like, I fucking have to. You put him at 8, dude. All right, number 8 for me. Number 8 for me. The Rock.
Okay.
Fucking Rock. He was great. As a kid, he was my favorite. Like, hands down, he was my favorite. Fun fact, he was in kindergarten. My mom found someone who looked a lot like The Rock to show up at lunch one day and pretend to be The Rock and just walk up to me and say, "Hey, David, do you smell what The Rock is cooking?" And I fucking lost it. Mom, if you're listening, where are these fucking pictures of me and the fake Rock? I'd love to find that picture. I don't know where these pictures are. There's pictures. He gave me a little Rock action figure. Like, I'm greatest mom in the world. But that was like the coolest thing that ever happened in my life, and it wasn't The Rock. But I think he's a crazy athlete, so charismatic. He's, in my opinion, the greatest on the mic of all time. Like, there is nobody in the history that can pick up a microphone and get the crowd as excited as he did. Thought he was amazing. And, like, it's not a surprise that he's the highest earning movie star in the world right now. I think had he wanted to stay in wrestling and, like, keep doing it, he'd maybe be my greatest of all time. I think had he had a longer career, he'd be higher on the list. Because his career was as short as it was, he comes in at number 8. But I love The Rock. I think if you don't love The Rock, you're out of your fucking mind.
Yeah.
No, I love The Rock. He's coming up later in my list too, so
yeah,
he's for sure there.
Yeah, and why'd you put him there and maybe not higher? Is there a reason?
I mean, I have 7 people who longer careers, I think, accomplished more in wrestling than him. Yeah, like I said, I think if he had stuck around and didn't go to Hollywood and do movies and stuck around and did wrestling,
he'd be higher up on the list.
Yeah. I imagine he would have to be.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
All right.
What do you got, Hoff?
My number 8, he might not even be on your guys' list, but my number 8 is Chris Jericho. I have Chris Jericho. I mean, I haven't really seen a bad match. Like, I can't say a bad thing about him in the ring. I loved it when Triple H tore his quad, and then Chris Jericho took him to the announcer table and threw him in the walls of Jericho. And this man is screaming in the top of his lungs and putting the walls of Jericho on him. He's also he's the first undisputed WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Like, I mean, his matches are crazy, and he had a band while he was in WWE. He also did his out of the ring, like, skits and everything were even good.
Yeah, he was good.
He's up there for me.
Still is good.
Yeah. And talking about tearing quads, y'all saw Vince McMahon run in that fucking tear his quads.
Yeah, and he's still wrestling today in AEW. So.
Yeah, look at that long career. Nice. All right, so we
who you got at 7?
Number 7, I got Triple H. You know, super long career. I mean, I felt like even though, like, you know, David had a good point too. Like, I felt like there was even times when he was pretty deep into his career, not too old or anything, where I would even feel like watching him back in the day, be like, I don't know if he should have won that match. But I felt like he helped a lot of wrestlers become who they were because he was so good. And I don't know if a lot of other people's careers would have been as good if it wasn't for him. Like you were saying, he was bringing up Randy Orton, Batista. I mean, helping Ric Flair in his later career.
That is the thing. Like, Ric Flair, he's a therapist's wet dream because, he's so insecure and depressed. And, like, Triple H bringing him into the WWE, like, in the 2000s, being like, dude, like, you're Ric fucking Flair.
Yeah.
Like, why are you being so quiet? Why are you acting like you're not the greatest of all time? Like, you're so good. You've paved the way for everyone. Like, Triple H is the reason Ric Flair stayed as long in WWE as he was and had as good of a back end of his career as he did.
Yeah.
Also, at WrestleMania 19, Triple H wrestled Booker T. And the whole build-up to that was how someone like Booker T will never be world champion. He's got a nappy head and should be doing a little dance for Triple H, which is horrible. But you know what? It's wrestling. Big payoff is these two guys are going to fight at the end, and the good guy's going to win. Nope. Triple H pedigrees Booker T. And then, guys, I'm not even joking. Like, I might oversell it, but I think, like, 40 seconds goes by after the pedigree before Triple H gets over and covers him. For the 1, 2, 3, like I might be overselling it by saying 40 seconds, but it's over 20 seconds.
Yeah, he's like, what?
Pedigrees him and then just, like, slowly crawls over and just puts a hand on his chest. And that's 1, 2, 3. That's fucking, like, the crazy racial undertones of that whole build.
Dude,
and then the white
lot.
guy beats the black guy. And, like, embarrassingly beats him. Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Like, Triple H didn't do shit like that. He might be up higher on my list.
That's a big reason why Booker T made my list, bro. The shit that he had
crazy.
to endure.
That's crazy. You can't do a pity. He's in my top 20 because I felt bad. That's crazy.
No, not even felt bad. Just like, damn, like what a professional.
Vince McMahon made Trish Stratus crawl around on her hands and knees and bark in the ring once. Why didn't she make your top 20?
She just wasn't good
With
enough.
the pity stuff.
No, but yeah, good for Booker T. You know.
All right, my number 7. You guys might have noticed while Nick read his number 8, I was pretty quiet. It's because I got Chris Jericho coming in at number 7. We celebrated 30 years of Jericho last year. And, I mean, really, 30-year career. I know we're only doing United States, but, like, in Japan, in WCW, in WWE, and in AEW, he's been a star everywhere he's gone. Puts on good matches, has Fozzy, a great rock band, and just hilarious on the mic. In 2015, he had the list of Jericho, where he would just talk to people, and he's like, you know what happens when you do that? You know what happens? You just made the list! And he'd write them on the list. Doesn't sound fun. It was the funniest and the greatest fucking thing that was on TV at the time. You just made the list! And he'd just write them on the list, and, like, if they were good... Like, as Xavier Woods in a group called The New Day, he like, no, don't put me on the list! Like, just freaking out.
Fucking
like,
crazy look in his eye.
You just made the list. That was the biggest thing in wrestling, and it shouldn't have been. It was the list of Jericho.
Yeah.
He takes whatever he's given and just makes it fucking gold.
Yeah, amplifies it.
And he's been doing it for 30 years. Now he's in AEW, putting over younger talent that WWE didn't let him do. Putting over younger guys, making wrestling in the future, it's going to be great. Because Chris Jericho's there putting over MJF and Darby Allin and John Moxley. Like, he's putting these guys over. Sammy Guevara. Like, I think Chris Jericho has done as much or more for wrestling in his 30-year career than anybody else. I mean, if he had better accolades, I'd love to have him at number 1, but I can't.
Yeah, I feel a little foolish. He is an honorable mention for me.
That's because you are a little foolish, bud.
Hey, but I put him there before. I'm not just making it up. He was an honorable mention the whole time.
Okay, Braden. Okay.
All right, come on, bro. Come for me. I'm gonna freak out.
No, my number 7 was Triple H, which was Braden's as well.
Oh, look at that.
Mega power.
Wow, a little connection there, huh, bud?
Yeah, everyone, and when he was in Evolution and everyone hated him, for some reason I loved that everyone hated him, and I loved that
he would great bad guy,
and I loved that he would beat everyone and anyone for no reason, and you know that the other guy should have won.
Yeah.
Like when
time to play the game.
Like even when Goldberg came in and Goldberg should have beat him.
Yeah.
But what do you know? Triple H has Evolution behind him to tie him up and handcuff him to the Elimination Chamber, and him just beat the shit out of Goldberg. No, Goldberg coming, like having a huge announcement for him to come to WWE, and he's fighting Triple H, and oh no, Goldberg's just gonna lose to Triple H. And
Yeah,
he's
what a
just
way
gonna beat the shit out of
to
him.
not hype up your new fucking star.
Yeah, like that's great, and that makes it so much better. Like when the late great Chris Benoit tapped him out at WrestleMania 20.
God.
Like that's what, but like that made it so much better because like Chris Benoit
The
winning
late
the
great.
belt. Yeah, and I had to. I couldn't not say something weird. But like no, so like for those of you that I'm joking when I say that he's a horrible person. He murdered his family. Awful. I don't condone what he did.
Yeah,
believe it or not, I do not condone what Chris Benoit did. But like had he just beaten another champion? Like, it would have been cool. Like, oh, he finally, like, at the main event of WrestleMania, he won. Confetti's falling. It's him and Eddie Guerrero in the ring. But because it was Triple H who had been the champion forever, and he made him tap out, and it was at Madison Square Garden, like, that makes it so much better. Like we were saying before, like, Triple H helps elevate stars, and he absolutely did.
Yeah.
Like, he won matches and fucking buried people he shouldn't have. But at the same time,
Yeah.
like, that Chris Benoit victory isn't as awesome if it's not a dominant world champion.
Yeah.
No, but and then also I think then they go to like Backlash or something, and Triple H beats the shit out of him or something like that.
No, so that was Benoit ended up losing the belt to Randy Orton, and then Triple H beat Randy Orton. Randy Orton's first title defense, like not putting over the younger star. Like
Yeah.
that's the issue.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, there that is.
That's the problem. Yeah.
But you know what? Full circle, he ended up losing it to Batista at WrestleMania, making Batista a fucking superstar. It comes full circle eventually.
Yeah.
He just, in the middle, he's winning, he's burying people he shouldn't be burying.
Yeah. You know, which is why he's one of the best of all time. Am I right?
Who you got at 6?
I got Shawn Michaels. I got the Heartbreak Kid, the Showstopper, Mr. WrestleMania, the fucking foot tap to the fucking high kick. That's my dude.
Little sweet chin music, Brady.
Yeah.
Foot tap to the high kick?
I'm not giving the name of the.
He's
obviously,
tuning
I'm
up
just.
the band, Braden, when he's doing his little
Bro, I
taps. Come
know,
on.
dog. I know. I'm
And
just.
then he hits him with the sweet chin, not the toe tap to the high kick. You're making me sick over here, Braden.
Bro, I'm just describing what he's doing. All right. So that's my dude, Shawn fucking Michaels.
So I think we just do this together. I also have Shawn Michaels at 6.
Oh, nice.
I think I said earlier, like you could say, like if Daniel Bryan isn't my greatest in-ring wrestler of all time, Shawn Michaels is. I think bell to bell, he could sell people's offense. It was believable that he could win matches. Like his match against Hulk Hogan at SummerSlam, by the way, is the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen in a wrestling match. Going into it, it was supposed to be Hulk Hogan won, and then they did a second match and Shawn Michaels won. It was going to be at like Survivor Series or the Royal Rumble, and then they would have a third match at WrestleMania, blow it off, and Hulk Hogan would probably win that. But Shawn Michaels was like, that's going to be 3 huge paydays against Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan then was like, I'm only doing the one match, and I'm going to win. So Shawn just like hilariously, like on purpose, hilariously oversells everything Hulk Hogan does. Like Hulk Hogan would like punch him and he would fly over the top rope. Like it's so fucking funny and over the top. It's just so petty. Like everyone knows what he's doing, and people are like, "This is wild that he's doing this right now." Like it was insane. Not to get too off track with that, because Shawn Michaels he had an amazing career and then retired and then came back and had a better career. Like Shawn Michaels, when he retired the first time, probably still in my top 10.
Yeah.
Definitely in my top 20, probably in my top 10. And then he came back and just had such a better career. Like the second half, that's where Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 25 and WrestleMania 26 against The Undertaker, my opinion, are the 2 greatest wrestling matches ever. They are just so fucking perfect, and they're back-to-back years. And Undertaker, he's great, but like if it's not Shawn Michaels in there with him, he's not putting on those matches. Greatest in-ring wrestler of all time, I think, hands down.
And you're talking about physical performance.
Performing like bell-to-bell physical performance in the ring.
I think he's the best performer when it comes to like selling everything. Like And I'm not talking about like the backstage talking, which he's great at, you know, all that too. I'm talking about like when he gets hit, the way he sells getting hit, all the little things that goes into not just like I'm able to jump off the top ropes and do something physically.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Little
Like,
things like he gets rolled into the turnbuckles, and instead of just like turning around and let his back hit it, he keeps running forward and then rolls into them and rolls over the top. Like nobody does the shit that Shawn Michaels does, and he's so fucking good at it.
So because of that, he gets you the most invested into it. Like you are like, because of that, you're so into it because it seems so believable, you know, like.
Yeah. And then he does shit and he's like, whoa, what the fuck did he just do there? He just did a front flip into the turnbuckle and then fell back down on his belly. What is he doing there?
Yeah. And then
like
it makes it like the most exciting matches.
He does random shit. And if he's in the main event, he's bloody. No matter what.
Bro,
he is bloody.
How many times have you seen him on his knees, bloodied up, with fireworks going off behind him? You know what I'm saying?
4 times.
Four fucking times.
No, but I mean, even his rivalry with Triple H, and then them coming back as DX as well, like even all that after.
Yeah, fucking suck it.
That's even later in his career. That's not even like before he retired, too.
Yeah.
His career before he retired was crazy.
And like there's a reason that Ric Flair's retirement match at WrestleMania, he said, I want Shawn Michaels. Like that, there's nobody else I would want to go in there and wrestle than Shawn Michaels, because Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair was not capable of having a really good match back then.
Yeah,
Shawn Michaels carried him to a really good match.
exactly.
And then, if you watched that match,
well, I'm just saying, like,
no, because there's something I want to say right now.
Okay, but yeah.
So Ric Flair's like getting to his feet and like stuttering around. Shawn Michaels in the corner, and he just looks at Rick and goes, "I'm sorry, I love you."
Yeah, no,
and then super kicks him and pins it. Like, if
like
you
the saddest
watched that
moment.
and you didn't cry, you're made of stone. Yeah. I was like, oh my god! I was like, it's the fucking craziest.
It's like one of the saddest
I'm
moments.
sorry,
in wrestling
I love
entertainment.
you.
Yeah,
Kicks him, pins him, 1, 2, 3. Ric Flair's career's over. Like, amazing.
yeah. See, and it wouldn't have been that at all.
If he just kicked him?
No, if it was someone else too.
Oh, if it was someone, they would just pinned him and it would have been like,
Yeah.
Kurt Angle's career got ended by some dude named fucking Baron Corbin.
The fuck?
Who it wasn't a good match and there was no emotion to it. He just pinned him and it's over. Kurt Angle's done. Like, it's a joke.
Yeah. Especially for people like Kurt Angle, any Hall of Famer, any real legend. Like, if that's their last match, you need to fucking oversell, like overdo it, basically. You know, like make it as great as a championship match or something. You know,
And that's what they did for Ric Flair.
yeah,
That's what they should have done for Kurt Angle, and they didn't.
they didn't. Yeah,
But, Hoff, who you got at 6?
My number 6, he's the most electrifying man. I got The Rock.
nice.
Man's a menace on the mic. Probably the best mic talk ever. His in-ring as well is top tier. I mean, David even said it. If he wrestled for longer, he'd probably be up there, 1 or 2. I mean, maybe even the greatest all time.
Yeah,
So I mean, God.
can't beat it.
Yeah.
I think fucking The Rock's electrifying.
And like when he returned to host WrestleMania, WWE was like, we're like surprised, like we're about those like weeks before it. Like we're gonna end, and the host of this year's WrestleMania is, and The Rock's music hits, and like there's grown men just fucking going crazy, running up the ramp. You're like, I can't fucking believe The Rock's back.
And dude, like,
I remember jumping on my couch. I was like, you fucking serious? It's The Rock. He's hosting WrestleMania? Like, hosting? That doesn't even fucking mean anything.
Yeah.
He's hosting it. But I was like, fuck yeah!
I don't think he'll come back, but if he, like, to full on, like, wrestle, but,
I think he's going to come back and wrestle Roman Reigns.
and have, like, one match or something.
They're cousins in real life, and I think it's going to happen.
Yeah. I think it'll only happen if he somehow has slow time in his acting career, because it's so popping right now that it's like the money he would get for every role that he's going to be doing is probably outweighs even that wrestling match.
He'll come back for one match. He's not going to come back and like he'll
Yeah,
come back
there's no
for one
ways,
match
yeah.
and like work Mondays and just show up like at Raw and be on
Just
the
kind of
microphone.
talk, yeah,
and
hype it
then
up.
and then show up at the match. It'll be like a WrestleMania match.
And dude, like
I think
he's
he
in the
does one
best.
more.
He's in the best shape of his life right now. Like he
100%.
blows when he actually competed in wrestling. Like, dude, he blows his physical.
Dude eats
appearance out the
2,000.
water.
Dude eats 2,000 pounds of cod every year. Think how much cod that is.
Hold on, is
It was
that
something
like a
crazy.
legitimate?
It was something
statistic?
crazy, like The Rock's diet. Like he released it on the thing, and people were like, "He eats how much cod? Like that's a lot of fish. Like it's crazy."
Jesus, yeah, that's a lot of fish.
All right, Braden, let's get started on this top 5.
Top 5, guys. All right, I got arguably my favorite wrestler of all time, The Rock. So yeah, I just think he's, not to stay on him for so long, but I just felt like he was so electrifying. I felt like if he did have a longer career, he might have been number 1. I felt like between him and Stone Cold, I felt like those were the two, like as you were saying, you said The Rock. I think it's between him and Stone Cold for being the best on the mic and being able to like hype up the crowd and say what they say. But yeah, The Rock I think he might have been one of the best to, like, I don't know if he has one of the best characters, but I think he was one of the best to portray his own character. And then he was super creative with his moves. I loved his fucking moves and the way he hyped it up with his character for his moves. Like his moves went with his character. They weren't just moves. They weren't just like things that had, like, everything correlated to his persona. And that's why I felt like he was so electrifying.
Yeah, I mean, top. I had him 8, Nick had him 6, you had him 5. Like we're all in the same ballpark there. I think we all feel very similar, if not the same, on The Rock.
Yeah.
Number 5 for me.
Let's hear it. I want to hear it.
I wanted to put him higher. The Undertaker.
Oh!
I really wanted him higher on this list. I couldn't make it work internally.
I mean, he has to be at least top 5.
There was no scenario where he was not making my top 5. I wanted to put him higher. I couldn't see a way to work
chin
it.
is hanging
Nick's
low
hanging
right
low.
now.
I get it. My top 4 are all people who carried a promotion on their back and were a huge mainstream, like, in-your-face star. I mean, I think if we're talking greatest of all time, you have to look at whoever the biggest star in the company is. And, like, Undertaker was always a huge star. He was the leader of the locker room. And I love him, guys. Greatest character of all time.
Yeah, you think he's the greatest character of all time?
Without, he was a dead man
That wouldn't die.
that he made last
Got buried
forever
alive.
and made it huge.
Well, at that point, he got buried dead.
The
When he was already dead.
The WrestleMania streak, amazing. Late in his career, matches with Shawn Michaels, Triple H, CM Punk. The last match of his career was a boneyard match with AJ Styles at WrestleMania 36. Was fucking phenomenal. I love The Undertaker. I loved Biker Taker. A lot of people didn't like Biker Taker. I loved Biker Taker.
Oh, me too.
I thought he was great.
I thought he was great.
I thought it was perfect to go from, he was Ministry of Darkness Taker and all that shit, and then they switched to Biker Taker. And then as soon as it kind of felt like Biker Taker's wearing out his welcome, they switched back. Perfect. He knew when to switch. I feel like bad, like putting him at 5, which is crazy. He's the 5th greatest wrestler of all time. Like that's a big deal.
Yeah.
But like I could have put him higher. I couldn't.
I honestly see how you could put him 5th. Like I really do. It's hard. It's hard. And I could see how you could put him 5th.
Yeah. So like I got him 5th. If either of you had The Undertaker number 1, I would not be upset with that.
Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
But personally, for me, he's 5th. Hoff, what do you? I'd like to hear words from you about this because
He's so distraught.
you hung your head really low the whole time I
He
talked.
doesn't know what
So I'd
he's
love to hear you
appalled,
say
David.
something.
Lost for words.
I don't know. I'm just a little sad that The Undertaker's at number 5 for you. I think he should be a little bit higher on your list. Just a personal opinion.
Yeah, there's no one on the list ahead of him that I look at and I'm like, oh, he has to go ahead of them. It just,
Dude,
and here's the thing, I like him more than two of the people that are ahead of him. If we were doing favorite wrestlers of all time, he's ahead of two of the guys that are in my top 4.
well, it's still part of like a
But
variable. So
Oh,
you're,
oh,
you're just saying the
absolutely.
way that you weigh out your picks.
The way I weigh it out, yeah. Like,
So
if we
you're
were just
saying,
doing favorite, Undertaker's ahead of my next two people.
So what do you weigh the most important? The ones that sell out, the that are big of the promotion, kind of like you're saying?
Biggest draw, good in the ring, and then just did I like them?
Yeah.
Are they good on them? Are they good in the ring? Are they good on the mic?
Yeah,
Did I like them?
Performance, yeah.
because Sasha Banks shouldn't be in the top 20. I put if we were doing like a legitimate favorites, Sasha Banks in my top 10, no doubt about it. If we're doing favorites. She's in. I fucking love her. She's great.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Taker comes in at 5 for me.
Nice.
Hoff, who you got at 5?
My,
It'd be great if it was The Undertaker. It would be amazing.
I'd never do that to the dead man. My number 5. My number 5 is the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
I believe you guys had him at what, 6 or 7?
I had it 6. Yeah.
At
So did
6?
David.
So
Yeah.
I have him at 5. I mean, him just being. I mean, you could tell him in the ring with someone else that he is obviously way more talented than the other guy,
which just makes them so much better.
Yeah, you can tell that he's making the other guy look so much better in the ring, controlling the pace of the match and everything. Just
dude, in the passion, bro. It's like the emotion that he can actually like present.
Yeah, and his sells are amazing, and
it actually like makes it like heartfelt. You know, like when you watch like a Shawn Michaels match, like it makes it like he's got passion. It's like Ric Flair too, I would say. Like Ric Flair has crazy passion, and so does seriously when you're performing. Though,
you put him at 10. You stop talking about it. You keep Ric Flair's name out of your fucking mouth.
Damn.
Yeah. Like so, if we were doing like, I love Shawn. He was 6'5", makes a ton of sense. If we were doing favorites, he might be number 1 for me. If we were doing our favorite wrestler, like I couldn't say enough about Shawn Michaels.
All right. Let's get on to number 4. I got Hulk Hogan. I just think he's one of the biggest names of all time in wrestling. I felt like he was able to just help wrestling become what it is and grow so many people. Like at the end of his career, I felt like he was helping so many other people become bigger and like made big matches, and like he made some of the biggest matches of all time. He's, sold out probably some like the biggest, events of all time. So that's why I have Hulk Hogan number 4.
Hulk Hogan didn't make my top 20.
Wow.
I'm kidding. I have him at 4 as well.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's fucking funny, boys, because I have Hulk Hogan at number 4 as well.
Look at that.
Clean sweep for the 5-6 Kings.
Look at that.
Yeah. Hulk Hogan, like Bruno Sammartino was the first star in wrestling. Hulk Hogan is why Vince McMahon was able to take the WWF from a regional northeastern promotion and to take over the country, take over all the territories, and be like, we're gonna be the monopoly for professional wrestling.
Well said.
He was like, little kids were saying their prayers, eating their vitamins. Like you could say he buried people, he did all this. If you don't if you don't watch Hulk Hogan and go like, oh, that's awesome, he's the man, like you're just a cynical asshole. I truly believe that. Like, yeah, he like said the N-word recently and stuff, and that's not great. But if you can look past all that and look at like old school Hulk Hogan, you don't love it, there's something wrong with you. And then, so like he might not be as high on my list if he didn't go to WCW and turn heel. Turned heel, joined the NWO, because like that was
my favorite Hulk Hogan.
Dude, and like it was so crazy that like the guy who was Mr. America, kids love him, say your prayers, eat your vitamins, kids, then like became a bad guy and was just doing like cheating to win matches and stuff. Like it was so fucking unheard of for him to do that.
Yeah.
That is what completely changed wrestling. That's why WCW was as big of a company as it was. Because NWO. And the NWO would have been fucking nothing without Hulk Hogan. It would have been fine, but it would have been Scott Hall and Kevin Nash just being like good, big wrestlers. But Hulk Hogan, 4, we all have him at 4. If anyone had him at 1, it wouldn't be crazy.
Yeah, I think he's got one of the best looks, too, of all time.
Real quick, I'm going to stop saying if anyone had him at 1, it wouldn't be crazy.
Yeah, you said that a couple times.
And we're in the top 5. I think that should just be understood for everyone that we say from now on.
Yeah, for sure.
And also, Braden, would you say that his WrestleMania 3 match with the greatest big man of all time, Andre the Giant, rocketed his stardom?
I see what you're doing, Hoff.
In the WWF, WWE?
I see where you're getting at. No, I mean, for sure, dude. It's one of the biggest matches of all time.
Okay,
absolutely.
You said no, to start. Now I was about to say just stop recording. We're done.
No,
we're done. That's crazy what you're saying.
I'm trying to stop you guys because I know you think I don't know that I'm ridiculous or something. But
you are pretty ridiculous, Brady.
No, I understand, dude. The epitome of
just look at Hulk Hogan came back to WWE as a bad guy in the NWO. Fought The Rock at WrestleMania, where WWE was expecting people to boo him. And the second the NWO music starts, the crowd goes fucking crazy. That's who Hulk Hogan, he was back at WrestleMania. He was in Toronto. He was back at WrestleMania, and nobody cared that he was a bad guy. Nobody cared that he was going against The Rock, who was the biggest star in the company at the time, and, the biggest baby face. They were like, no. Hulk Hogan's the fucking man. We're cheering for him.
Oh, bro.
And The Rock was like, fuck. So The Rock started acting like a bad guy in the ring and stuff like it. That's one of the matches, whatever, as far as a technical thing, but that's one of my favorite matches to watch.
Yeah. I mean, fuck, all he's got to do is say hey, brother, or fucking rip his shirt. Yeah. Or fucking
put his hand up to his ear and
yeah.
the crowd's like, yeah, he's great.
Yeah. Exactly.
We could do a whole episode on Hulk Hogan.
100%.
But I want to hear who number 3 is for you, Braden.
Awesome. I honestly, this used to be, besides The Rock, my favorite wrestler. I used to have a fucking poster of him in my fucking room. And now I'm I got mixed feelings on him, but it's John Cena. It's John Cena. And it's the only reason why I got mixed feelings because that whole fucking China bullshit. The whole fucking thing with Taiwan. I'm like, bro, why do you gotta learn? Obviously you're appealing to an audience.
Don't make it political.
You're a sellout.
We aren't political. Don't make it political.
You're right.
Keep talking about his wrestling.
You're right. But this is subjective according to the way I view, the wrestler. But yeah, so no, he's definitely one of the best wrestlers.
Are you pro N-word? Because you didn't bring that up for Hulk Hogan.
I did. I never even heard it, honestly. I didn't know. I didn't know what to say about it. My bad. But no, I'm not okay with that, bro. It's fucked. Hoff's over here fucking gone. No, but John Cena, I think he's one of the best of all time. He's one of the biggest names, biggest stars of wrestling, and even still to this day, he's able to fucking help promote and take wrestling to bigger heights. So I don't know. He just used to be one of my favorites, and isn't he one of the has one of the most championships of all time as well?
I don't know. You probably should have done more research before we did a podcast on this. And he's in your top 3. That's crazy.
Oh yeah,
yes.
25 championships. So
yeah, but not world. That's counting intercontinental and tag team, and it's 16 world titles.
Yeah, but 25 total.
I know that because John Cena is also 3rd for me. John Cena, all the stuff Braden said, yeah. John Cena is longer than anybody else. He was the face of WWE. Longer than Hulk Hogan was, longer than anybody else in history. John Cena was their guy that they were. And he might be, for WWE, he might be the last person ever that is bigger than, the company.
Yeah.
Is a bigger star. Because, right now, Roman Reigns is their top guy. I bet you most people listening might not know who, unless they looked and saw that this was on wrestling, this particular episode. Most people listening don't know who Roman Reigns is.
I only know of him because of promotions, basically.
Yeah, and that's kind of like John Cena was a star that was bigger than the WWE. The reason I have him where I have him, though, is because towards the end of his career, like 2016, he won the United States Championship. Mid-card title, not a world title, and he did what was called the John Cena United States Championship Open, where he would just go in the ring and say, whoever wants a title shot, you want some, come get some. And it was always guys who were either like in NXT or guys who like fans knew were really good at wrestling, but they were never getting pushes. And he'd go, and John Cena had to win because he had like, that had to keep going on. If he loses the title, that stops being a thing. But it would be guys like Cesaro and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and Neville. It'd be like guys who were really good wrestlers that people don't watch, and they'd come out and they'd have a 25-minute match with John Cena on TV and have just an awesome match, and people would be like, oh, that guy's fucking great.
See, that's awesome.
And that's John Cena, end of his career, like, taking up younger talent and pushing. WWE didn't do shit with most of these guys, but John Cena, like, went out of his way and was like, no, I want to wrestle him next week because he's fucking awesome and nobody knows it. We're going to put on a great match.
Yeah. And then also you're having all these, so much more title matches now, like in the mix of these episodes,
So, like, it's John Cena knowing, like, I'm not going to be around forever.
No, yeah.
Wrestling needs stars when I leave, and that's what AEW is doing. Like, Chris Jericho's like, I'm not going to be around forever.
Yeah.
I need to lose to Darby Allin. I need to lose to Jon Moxley. I need to lose to MJF. I need to push these guys forward so people know who they are.
Yeah.
And, like, that's why, like, AEW, that's why they're going to thrive for longer. Yeah. WWE, there's still time. There's still a ton of talent. WWE's still the biggest promotion in the world. But like,
they got to fix some fucking shit.
They need to fucking bring up younger talent when they have good young stars.
Yeah.
That the fans are behind. They need to push
give them the freedom.
Yeah.
To, be creative.
Yeah.
Be an artist.
Like they've gone away from what worked for them forever.
Makes no sense.
Yeah. Hopefully they get back to it in some way.
I think they're trying to do that so they can make sure they can keep it controlled to a specific audience, like how you were even saying how they're trying to, and dude, when you're trying to make things too young for, like, dude, we were young as fuck.
Yeah.
And we loved, and it's, bro, like
it's people fist fighting in a ring.
It's predominantly young boys. If that's the audience.
18 to 49 is the target demographic.
Now today?
That's what it's supposed, that's what it always has been.
That's what it's supposed to be.
And now WWE is like, oh, we want kids. We want
that
PG.
12-year-old demographic.
Yeah,
and it's like
kind of, which, great.
But you already had it.
Yeah. And like you're a primetime wrestling program.
And now you're fucking up your audience by trying to shift it to that younger crowd, bro. Yeah.
Yeah. But John Cena, I did not like him for a lot of his career. Like the same issues I had with Triple H, like him beating people he shouldn't be beating and winning when he shouldn't. Having Rey Mysterio win the WWE title, and then later that night, John Cena wrestling Rey Mysterio for the title, wrestling a tired and beaten up Rey Mysterio, winning it,
like
and everyone's supposed to cheer John Cena like it's crazy. But the United States Championship Open, I was like, John Cena, he fucking gets it.
Yeah,
he's putting people over. Good on him.
Good on him.
Nick, who you got at number 3?
My number 3 is the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Woo! I mean, him in his earlier career, winning all those titles, his mic skills, him saying all the smack talk, and him wrestling in the ring, and then him coming to WWE, refinding himself in Evolution, and just him being Ric Flair. I mean, he's up at number 3 for me, for sure. Top 3 all time.
He's like part of the Migos now.
Braden hates it. He just said he's part of the rap group Migos. Cool. Cool.
They love him.
Yeah. You got him at number 10.
David's so hurt right now. He's not going to let that go forever.
Nah, dude, you Mick Foley ahead of him.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
who's number 2? Let's see your number 2. Is it JBL? You're like, no. Him coming out in the stretch limousine with the horns on.
Come on,
So
how could you
cool.
forget?
Who didn't love it?
Oh my God, David.
Who you got it to?
Oh, dude, The Undertaker. Right?
Speak on.
Yeah. Okay. Dude, I mean, I don't know. I already said what I said. The man died. Man got buried when he was already dead. I was like, what the fuck is going on? He literally, I don't know how they did that. I would actually love to see how they buried him. Because wasn't it with cement?
No, that was
Yeah, they
Paul
did.
Bear.
He got buried. Oh, but they buried him with dirt. Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think he gets buried by like it's a door that opens and then shuts, so he rolls into the door.
Can you imagine if that fucked up?
Yeah.
Boss, I can't open the door.
Because I mean, I think in that match, both of them were thrown into the pit or whatever you call.
Didn't
it.
they have a giant? I don't know what they're called, like crane
It's an
fucking thing.
yeah, like an excavator. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
An excavator.
That is what it's called. They fucking nailed it.
Yeah. No, dude, I mean, how long was he undefeated for at WrestleMania?
22.
Went 21-0.
21-0.
And for no reason at all, they had Brock Lesnar beat him.
Yeah, he didn't
Still
make my
baffled
list.
because like Brock Lesnar, like they had him go on a tear after that, and he was scared. But like, you don't need him to beat the Undertaker at WrestleMania for it to be believable that Brock Lesnar can fuck up any human being in the world. Like,
Dude.
just have Brock Lesnar come in and do that. Don't have him end the Undertaker streak.
Yeah.
That's not like they could have used that. Have a fucking young up-and-comer who, like, if they beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania, holy shit, that's awesome. Good for him.
Yeah.
Instead, they're like, nah, we're going to have Brock Lesnar do it. Everyone's like, all right, cool. Like it was great shock value. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure on YouTube that's gotten millions of watches.
Uh-huh.
But you didn't need to do that. You didn't fucking need to do it, guys.
Yeah, he didn't. And it's just like, I don't know. I just think he's one of the best characters and wrestlers of all time. And being how big he was, I don't know exactly like his stature, fucking like probably 6'10" or something.
He was tall, he was
Yeah.
heavy, and athletic.
And, and he was athletic. Like he wasn't so like, because when they're that big, bro, like usually you don't move as well. Like, dude, he can move pretty well for his height. So yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. I just think he was one of the best characters of all time. And oh, dude, had the best walkout. Maybe
without a
right.
That is, I don't have many regrets in life. I've never gone to a WWE show where The Undertaker's been there.
Yeah,
I've never witnessed that entrance live.
yeah,
And that's kind of sickening to me because it's the greatest of all time, without a doubt.
yeah. No, I feel that would have been a fucking like dream come true to see that. Yeah. So who you got at number 2?
I had no idea how hard
This would be
picking between the top 2 was going to be for me.
Oh my god.
So fucking difficult between these two guys. Like I it was days of back and forth. I'll probably change my mind at some point later. But number 2 for me, Nature Boy Ric Flair. I was this fucking close to having him be number 1 too. He is old school Ric Flair. I don't know what I was holding back rage earlier when Braden was like, his matches were good, but whatever. Ric Flair in the NWA, his matches with Ricky Steamboat are maybe greater than Undertaker, Shawn Michaels. I put him up there with the greatest matches of all time. They were that fucking good. He's a 16-time world champ. He's like a 20-something, but you only count NWA. The WWE only counts companies that they kind of own.
Yeah.
Or bigger promotions. He was, in the South, he was Hulk Hogan level of popularity for the NWA, but so much better in the ring. And Hulk Hogan will admit that he's like, I looked at like Ric Flair and I were the two biggest stars in the world, but Rick was putting on like awesome 60-minute matches, and I was just dropping the leg on people and pinning them. Like he's like Ric Flair, like if we wrestled, like he would wrestle circles around me. He was that much better in the ring. Woo! Like fucking character work was great. Limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, son of a gun. Like I love Ric Flair so much. And even when he came back to WWE, him with Evolution was great. Like playing like the old man manager, help like putting Triple H's foot on the bottom rope and then ducking over in the corner. Like he was so fucking good on the mic, in the ring as a manager. His last match with Shawn Michaels. Like, and that his career didn't end there. He went to TNA and did some like shitty stuff that wasn't very good, and like I wish that hadn't happened. I don't hold that against him in my rankings. His career ended at WrestleMania 24 against Shawn Michaels, as far as I'm concerned. But like I could do an entire podcast where I just talked about how fucking great Ric Flair is, and he was so close to being number one for me. I couldn't do it. I really wanted to do it. I couldn't. He was so close.
I don't know if this would make you feel any better, David, but I think Ric Flair is a better wrestler, like physical performer, than Mick Foley and definitely Hulk Hogan. Like I don't think Hulk Hogan especially is good when it comes to.
You put Ric Flair at 10. I need you to just stop.
Well, I'm just trying to make it.
I need you to just stop. Well, I don't believe you when you say this because you put Ric Flair at 10.
And then Mick Foley at 8.
I have my reasons.
Dude, I was so... Ric Flair was almost number one for me. Ric Flair's number one for a lot of people.
Oh, for sure.
You had him like if Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Triple H... If any of them listen to this podcast by some act of God, they're going to be like, what the fuck is that kid's problem? Put them at 10. They're going to shut it off right then and there.
Well, I'm sorry for those people.
The Undertaker will be furious that you have him ahead of Ric Flair.
Fuck, well, damn. Just what I like, I'm sorry. It's subjective,
Who you got at number 2, Hoff?
Well, my number 2 is probably a lot of people's ones. Right here, my top 3 could be either way, but my heart tells me that my number 1 guy's got to be number 1 there for me. So my number 2 is Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I knew it. I knew you were going to say that.
Man, the rattlesnake demon. You heard the glass break. You're going fucking nuts.
Oh, you're going fucking nuts.
I mean, I don't know if we can keep talking about it, but I'm pretty sure those are your guys, so you guys might want to talk a little more once we get around there. But that man, I mean, having that man in all those WrestleMania matches, having him come out in the beer truck, I mean, the shit that he did, filling up a drop top with cement, like all the shit that he did outside of the ring and then even inside of the ring is insane. Like,
yeah.
The shit that he even says, like,
dude, yeah. Yeah, he's
I mean, if we want to just jump in and do our ones, he's number 1 for me. I assume he's number 1 for you. I haven't heard him yet come out of your mouth, so I'd be shocked if he wasn't number 1.
No, it's Batista.
Yeah. Right. No, like... Yeah, like...
No, I'm kidding. It's Stone Cold.
Yeah, like Stone Cold number 2, like that makes... I have him number 1. He was very close to being number 2 for me, because I love Ric Flair. But, I mean... Dude, like, he beat the shit out of women. He attacked his boss in the hospital, and everyone loved it. Nobody can do that.
Bro,
it's not a thing people can do. The stunner is the greatest move in the history of wrestling.
Yeah.
Him and Mr. McMahon. That was still is the greatest feud wrestling ever did. And he made, like, Vince McMahon doesn't fucking wrestle. And they were always entertaining matches between him and Vince McMahon. Like, they shouldn't have been. It should have just been Stone Cold beating the shit out of his boss. But, like, no. WrestleMania, 3 WrestleMania matches with The Rock, all fantastic. The promo to WrestleMania X7, Stone Cold and The Rock, where it's Limp Bizkit's My Way or the Highway playing. I watched that. Like, if I want to get fucking jacked up, I put that on my TV. And I'm just like, yeah, fuck yeah, dude, Stunner, boom. He's the greatest of all time. I like,
and he has some of like the best random places, backstage moments of all time as well. Like him beating the shit out of Booker T in like the fucking food market.
Supermarket, yeah.
Yeah. Dude, him showing up to, what was it, Royal Rumble 2008 or some shit? I don't know. I can't remember. I think it was 2008. I don't know. But
What'd he do?
Oh, when he showed up and started beating the shit out of everyone? Started throwing everyone out the fucking... It was like...
It wouldn't have been 2008. He stopped wrestling in like 2003. His last match was WrestleMania 19. 2003 against The Rock. And so like, I'm not shitting on you for having a year. It just definitely wasn't 08.
Yeah, I don't know which Royal Rumble it was, but he came in, he started beating the shit. It definitely wasn't 2003.
It definitely wasn't 08. 08 was like he had retired for a while at that point. Let's not get hung up on this because
for sure. Like, but so he comes in like backstage, starts beating the shit out of like a bunch of people backstage, and then just like runs out to like everyone was in the ring. It was like the thickest moment in the Royal Rumble part of the event, where there's like 30 fucking people in there, and he just starts going ape shit on everyone, starts stunnering everyone.
You're talking about the old Stone Cold coming back. That wasn't even a Royal Rumble. That was just an episode of SmackDown.
You sure?
Oh, I'm positive. I know.
With that many people in the ring, though?
It was during the invasion, WCW, WWF. It was that. He came out and just fucked everybody up. Yeah.
That's why I thought it was a Royal Rumble.
Yeah, it was like 01.
Yeah, and there was like 30 people, though, in the ring.
Yeah,
he starts stuttering everyone. Yeah.
Dude, and like Stone Cold, his in-ring matches were always great, too. Like, he never had a bad match with The Rock. I said it earlier when I talked about Bret Hart. WrestleMania 13, one of the greatest matches of all time, him and Bret Hart. Can't say enough. He was the most popular star at the time that wrestling was its most popular. He made WWE the most money out of any other star. He's the reason they beat WCW in the Monday Night Wars. Like the reason Braden has the Big Show on his list is because he was there when they were the most popular. Well, Stone Cold was the fucking reason they were that popular. Like, Stone Cold, for me, like, it was tough not putting Ric Flair at number 1, but at the same time, like, it's very easy to put Stone Cold at number 1.
Yeah.
Like, I grew up during that.
Yeah, and
when I was a kid, I was a fan of The Rock. That was my favorite. But like, looking back, I'm like, oh no, it was Stone Cold's fucking company.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
I bet he's, like, overall the number 1 rated wrestler of all time.
I mean, yeah. Even when he retired and then he came back as like a general manager or something like that, and he was riding the 4-wheeler around the ring and everything. Like,
he was the general manager, and the rule was because he was just the manager and he's beating the shit out of everybody. It was he couldn't hit anyone unless physically provoked. That was some of the most fun fucking TV ever.
Yeah.
Because, like, it was people, like, trying not to hit him. And one time him and Jericho were, like, having a moment. They were drinking a beer, and Jericho, like, patted them on the back and then, like, went over for the crowd. And Stone Cold, you just see, like, the look he does. He's drinking the beer and then, like, looks at his arm that Jericho just slapped, and he's like, oh, I was provoked. There we go. Like, it was like, you see his eye, and you're like, oh, shit, he's going to do it. He got provoked. He got provoked. Like, the crowd starts going crazy. Little things like that were just, like, the crowd would go wild because Stone Cold was so fucking good at what he did.
Exactly. Like, there was never a point in time to where you didn't think he wasn't being him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was just so good at playing his character and being, like, that's probably part of, like, who he actually is in a way, too. You know what I'm saying? And, like, he's just so good at playing it that you're so sucked into it. You're like totally invested into what he's going to say, what he's going to do. And I think he gets you the most interested out of probably any wrestler. Like and I think that's why he's so good. It's so hard to say that too compared to like other wrestlers, but fuck, man, like when the song plays, when he says something, when he does what he does, like it just, I don't know. He's like one of the best to get everyone going and into it.
I think the only noise that competes with the glass breaking is the Undertaker's gong.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's no noise that happens over the speakers at a wrestling event that's going to make people go crazy like those two. Like the glass shattering, everyone's like, oh, this is about to be the best part of the night.
Yeah. 100%.
Hoff?
Number
Bring
one.
us home.
Let's hear
You
it.
got a number one.
My number one, I mean, he's, in my eyes, I mean, he's probably my favorite of all time.
Is it Gangrel, the leader of the Broog with Edge and Christian? Is it that guy?
Never, ever. But, I mean, he could be top 3 between Ric Flair, Stone Cold. I mean, any of those could be flipped to this number one. But I have The Undertaker at number one. I mean, greatest character of all time. Character went on for over 20 years. Had the WrestleMania streak. His entrances were one of a kind. You hear that drum. He might not be coming, but the lights shut off, and then people freak out, and they're like, oh, fuck, where's The Undertaker? Like, his Buried Alive matches, his Hell in a Cell matches, like, him coming out as Biker Taker. And then that's when he even started talking a bit more on the mic as well. Not as the dead man, but he was talking as Biker Taker. You'd see more of the side of him as well. And then he got buried, and then probably one of my favorite entrances was WrestleMania 20 when Kane did not believe, and like everyone else was like, oh no, Taker's not coming back. He's been gone for so long. He's not coming back. And then the torches, and he comes walking out. The smoke is everywhere. I mean, me personally, I'm pretty sure us three all watched WrestleMania 20 at Braden's house.
Yeah, and then I beat the shit out of y'all later with a choke slam, just like.
And that's WrestleMania 20 is probably my favorite pay-per-view of all time. But I mean, just him, his entrances, even like the way that he moves in the ring is completely different than everyone else.
Yeah, it goes with his character.
It's like he's slow. He's like moves slow, but he's also at times he's fast. Like, and then he goes up on the ropes, and fucking
eyes roll back. Everyone loses their shit.
And I mean, he has the choke slam and the fucking damn it. Hell, no, the
tombstone.
He has the tombstone, but it's the last ride he has as well.
Oh yeah.
And I think later on.
I love the last ride.
Yeah,
that shit fucking.
Last ride was I used to smack you at in the pool. But I mean, and then later on he added submission as well. I think he called it the Hell's Gate.
It was a go-go plata, which you never, like, UFC fighters don't attempt it. Where you pull, it's like a triangle, but you pull your shin around and you're choking them on your shin. Like, it's such a badass submission that he's just like, I'm going to start doing this now. And you're like, oh, shit. That's a thing. Like,
yeah, because, I mean, before he wasn't really doing submission moves, and then he throws in a submission, and he could fucking throw that thing in
dude,
at
being
any
6'10".
time. Someone, no, but I mean, like, he normally does that when he's laying on the ground. Like, if someone, like, puts him on the ground, and then they go to, like, try and pick him up, he'll just fucking throw that thing on him. And it's like, everyone's like, what the fuck? Like, I mean, even him laying on the ground and then sitting up. Like,
oh, yeah,
I
man.
mean, just him sitting
that's
up
a
out
good
of
point.
nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. That was probably some of the hypest moments in wrestling, bro. It's like this man just sitting up.
yeah, I mean, like, I had Undertaker at 5, but like I said when I did it, like, if either of you had him at number 1, totally makes sense. Like, we could do a full podcast on almost everyone that we've said tonight, but like Undertaker's amazing, the WrestleMania streak, and my 2 favorite matches of all time, hands down, were him and Shawn Michaels at the back-to-back WrestleManias. I had Stone Cold 1, but I don't disagree with you having Undertaker.
Have you seen those matches, Braden?
Which ones?
The Shawn Michaels and Undertaker at WrestleMania.
Bro, yeah, obviously.
I don't think you have.
Why wouldn't I have?
They were WrestleMania 25 and 26. I don't think you were watching wrestling then.
No, I've seen them. I YouTube all this shit too.
I think Braden's lying to us.
I think he is, but
I'm not gonna be
it's
able to
all right.
recall every movement like I probably couldn't from almost any match that I fucking adored at one point. But
What I was going to say is that if not, or if you don't really remember it, you need to go back and we should all watch it.
I'm down to watch it.
Regardless, we should all watch it.
Yeah.
So
Honorable
guys,
mentions?
That's our top 20. Let's do some honorable mentions.
Who wants to go for? We just name them all out really quick, kind of thing.
I'll do mine. So I put down Kane, Roddy Piper, Eddie Guerrero, who were all, and they were in both of your top 20s. I think all three of them. No, Roddy Piper wasn't in yours.
No.
But they were in the top 20. I got Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I wanted to find a place for him in the top 20. He even came back at WrestleMania 25 when he was like in his late 50s and been retired for over 10 years and put on a good match with Chris Jericho. Like I love Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. CM Punk, who, let's see what he does in AEW. If we do this list again in 5 years, I might have CM Punk up there. Harley Race, who I didn't grow up watching him. I love what I've seen from him, but I just couldn't. I would feel ignorant had I had him in the top 20. I've probably watched like 4 or 5 Harley Race matches total. I loved them all, but putting him in my top 20 would have been silly. And then, Kenny Omega, he's in AEW. He wrestled in New Japan and put on, with Kanushka Okada, a few of the greatest matches I've ever seen in my life. All he's done in AEW is just put on awesome match after awesome match. He's the belt collector. So AEW, guys, I love what they're doing. Their guys wrestle on Impact Wrestling and AAA and Ring of Honor. Like they're all the indie promotions are like, yeah, no, let's have our guys wrestle on their shows too. Awesome. Kenny Omega is the best wrestler right now in the ring. Let's just see what he does at AEW, but I think in 5 years he might be in the top 10.
I'll have to check some of them out.
Who you got as honorable mentions?
I got the Ultimate Warrior. I got, I really wish I would have put these two on my list, but Brock Lesnar and Goldberg. But I also got Rob Van Dam, Chris Jericho, Edge, and Batista. Those are my honorable mentions.
I'm just so glad that like Rob Van Dam and Batista are honorable mentions, because if they were on your list, I would have lost it.
No, they definitely wouldn't. They're definitely not top 20. But
and like, don't get me wrong, I love RVD. Who doesn't? Yeah. But like, if he would have been in your top 20, I would have fucking lost it.
Dude, he's a great physical performer. He had some dope moves.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah.
But like,
yeah.
I mean, I didn't really do honorable mentions, but I do regret not putting Randy Orton on my list. So we can put him as an honorable mention for sure. I'm still beating myself up over that. But I don't know who I would. Maybe I would take Eddie Guerrero on or something like that.
Now, why did Brock Lesnar and Goldberg not make anyone's list?
I mean, they weren't. Goldberg, I don't know.
Just not consistent enough,
Brock
not a
Lesnar
long enough
wasn't
career.
In WWE that too like crazy long.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and I felt like Goldberg wasn't consistent enough.
Goldberg went like 181-0, but then lost by like a finger touch or something. But I mean,
it was Kevin Nash lost by the finger touch.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That'd be great.
But I mean, and then he comes into WWE and then gets whooped up by Triple H.
Yeah, like Goldberg. I didn't watch WCW Nitro really, so like I didn't grow up watching Goldberg. I knew of him. I knew of him in WWE. I've never been a big Goldberg fan. His matches are kind of garbage. He's a big draw, and I get it. Like, people are excited about him. Brock Lesnar, I don't know. He maybe could have been an honorable mention, but I just... Same kind of thing. Like, his matches are more exciting. Like, he had a SummerSlam match with John Cena where it was like 16 minutes, and I'm not even joking. Within the first minute, he hits an F5. John Cena kicks out. and then for 15 minutes, Brock Lesnar just beats the fuck out of John Cena. like it's the main event for the WWE Championship, and John Cena's like at the height, like he's the star there, and Brock Lesnar's just fucking him up. He German suplexes him like 20 times. It's amazing.
Yeah, dude, those were great. The suplexes.
Yeah, but like there's too many fucking great wrestlers to put Brock Lesnar or Goldberg in the top 20.
Yeah.
I could have had Lesnar as an honorable mention. I would not have Goldberg as an honorable mention.
Yeah, okay. Seems fair. Just thought I'd ask.
Yeah, for sure.
And then, anyone else, Hoff? Just Randy Orton?
Yeah. I'm just really stumped on Randy Orton here.
Oh, man, I bet you regret it now,
Gangrel?
huh?
I thought he was going to be number 1.
Never. I'm surprised he wasn't Braden's number 1, knowing that he had Ric Flair at number 10.
Then Grave Braden's like, dude, Gangrel, he's the vampire. It was so cool. They came out with the fire from the ground. Like, that was awesome.
Come on, man.
You're telling me you didn't love the Broog?
He was always my favorite.
Yeah, I that would not have surprised me.
Dude, I used to have rubber John Cena knuckles, the fucking brass knuckles. That
I remember you wore them to school once.
Yeah, they were rubber. Oh, bro, I was what was it, like Superhero Day or some shit? Oh man, that was great. I used to wear the sleeves, everything. Yeah. But yeah, so that was the top 20.
Yeah, guys, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at 56Kings, FIVESIXKING.
S.
Don't forget to follow us there. Please like, share, subscribe all of our shit. We'll be releasing... So we're recording this on Sunday night. I'm not sure when we're going to get this out. We might get it out tonight. It might be tomorrow. And then Braden and I are back to our normal. We're recording the regular 56 Kings podcast tomorrow. So check that out.
And it's always such a pleasure to have the main man, Big Hoff, with us.
Nothing gets me out of bed like knowing Nick's going to be doing the podcast with us.
Yeah.
It's actually been a really, really, really fun time, boys.
Right?
I enjoyed talking. I'm bringing back some old memories.
Dude, I was just about to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember being like drop kicked by David off the trampoline and Hoff. Fucking assholes.
I mean, we used to go Sunday nights if there was a big pay-per-view that we all wanted to watch. We'd go to Braden's house, sleep over there. We'd have to ask our parents, be like, "Can we sleep over at Braden's tonight and watch?
Please, can we get the pay-per-view?
And watch the pay-per-view and order pizza?
But it's John Cena's on tonight.
And they're like, it's a school night. What are you doing? No, we'll go to school in the morning with Braden.
Yeah, it's okay. It'll be done early. It'll be like fucking 1 a.m. It's finishing.
Yes, I mean,
Then we wrestle till like 3.
we'd go to school,
Go to sleep for like 2
tired,
hours.
and be like, Ugh.
Bro, fuck this
But
science
did you see
class.
the pay-per-view last night, boys? Like,
Dude, Undertaker chokeslammed him through fucking the ring. It's just like going crazy.
we used to have like pick'ems too. Little kids, not even know what we were doing.
Oh, you guys missed it? You guys are probably sleeping for fucking school, nerds.
So like we'd make our predictions. We'd write out. We wouldn't bet anything, which is surprising, but we'd write it out. Just
we didn't
just
even
pride.
know it was gambling back then, but we were basically gambling, but with nothing.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, that was the top 20 wrestlers by the 5-6 Kings, and you can find us at the 5-6 Kings podcast out everywhere. Possibly the sports. Or are we just doing the podcast?
I don't know. We're having issues getting 5-6 King Sports on Apple, so we might. Yeah, I mean, if you're listening to this, you'll know the answer.
Yeah,
you'll know where you're listening to this on. It's either on 5-6 Kings or 5-6 King Sports. Yeah. I'm as excited as you guys are to find out.
Yeah, me too. So, yeah, we'll see pretty soon, and thank you all for listening, and we'll be back pretty soon. Thanks again, Hoff, for being here. It's always a pleasure. David, same to you. Take care, guys. Peace
Later.
out.
Bitch, motherfucker, I'm a ball.